Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Ball State Esports stream. Tonight we got an exciting match for you guys. We are streaming Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. And we got a good couple of matches coming for you tonight.
Yeah, it is going to be Ball State versus UBuffalo first, I believe. Then later you'll see Ball State versus Akron. But yeah, I think this is like one of our first time streaming Smash. I know we've probably done it for something before, maybe, but yeah, I think this is our first time streaming it at the varsity level. I know that Smash is a varsity game this year, actually competing in ESC. So that is something that I'm very excited to see. I guess if you don't know what Smash Bros is, or Super Smash Ultimate is the actual full name of the game. It is essentially a fighting game full of a lot of, I guess I like to say Nintendo characters, but it's not actually all Nintendo characters.
It started out as just Nintendo characters way back in the first game, Smash 64. But since then, as the Smash 64 that came out a long time ago, and they've had the chance to add many more characters since then. And of course, I've had a couple of tie-in characters. I'm assuming we're going to see some of them tonight, not just Nintendo characters. We got one I'm assuming we're going to see is Steve from Minecraft.
Steve from Minecraft.
He is in Smash. He's in Smash Bros. And not only is he in Smash Bros, he might be the best character.
Yeah, he is arguably the best character in the game.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about him. A lot of people want him banned. But he is not, and so I'm assuming we're going to see at least someone from Akron, Buffalo, or even Ball State playing Steve here. But yeah, Smash Ultimate is a fighting game, but we are going to be playing a crew battle format. If you don't know how that works, so basically we have a Smash Ultimate team here. You might think, how do you play on a team? It's a single player game pretty much. You just go 1v1. But we're going to have two teams of 4v4, and how they're going to go, how it works is they're going to go 1v1, but then let's say person one from Ball State goes against person one for UBuffalo, person from Ball State wins, now it's person one from Ball State going against person two from UBuffalo. But with the crew battle format is each time you have 3 lives in a game of Smash, and so let's say the person from Ball State loses 2 of their lives to the person one of UBuffalo, they now only have 1 life instead of 3 going into that second match.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Also, we forgot to introduce ourselves.
We did for yeah.
Wyatt, Libby Baby.
And I'm Zane, aka Pokey Penguin.
Yeah, welcome. Sorry. That's been a common thing for me this year, is I have forgotten to do the intros multiple times.
Yeah, sometimes you just get so caught up talking about
like,
all these games. If you're watching, you know me.
You know me. But yeah, I guess we can get into so that is how the crew battle format does work. You know, it kind of carries over. It's a good way to make Smash a bit more of a team game. Like rather than it just being a 1v1, because typically the pro Smash scene, I'm pretty sure, is very much a 1v1 type thing.
Oh yeah, the pro Smash scene is very much, if you're gonna look up anything, you're gonna see a lot of 1v1s, 2v2s, or the crew battle format. Off the top of my head, cannot think of another, like, at least a major Smash tournament format out there.
Yeah, I can't either. So I guess we can get into team rosters. Like I said, this is our first year of our varsity Smash program, but you know, we have had a Smash club. It's been probably like our most operated, consistent club throughout the years. So this is our roster. We got Soup Can Sam. I love that name. Green, Spiral, Galuna, Skittle, ACP, and Twerp. So these are also their mains. Probably some characters you recognize there.
Yeah, and it looks like, I'm trying to think, these are all pretty much Nintendo characters. You see ACP playing Lucas from the Mother games, or I think Mother 3 specifically. Twerp playing Samus from Metroid. Sukan Sam playing Lucario, and Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles. Lucario, of course, from Pokemon. Green Spiral playing the old characters, Pac-Man and Duck Hunt. Galuna playing Yoshi, and Skittle on Luigi and Young Link. I love to see some of these characters. Specifically, I love seeing Skittle as, or not Young Link, Toon Link.
Yeah.
There are 3 Links in this game.
Yeah.
So be careful about that. That's one thing you'll see is Smash has so many characters now, to the point that they actually introduced Echo characters, which is pretty much the same character, but usually a little bit of a change. Definitely a major change in design, but a little change in their game set and movement or something like that. But yeah, so it looks like a very nice roster for Ball State.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Duck Hunt. I love playing Duck Hunt because he's not that great, but I like
Duck Hunt is considered one of the worser characters in Smash Ultimate. But I love Duck Hunt.
I do love Duck Hunt.
He's just a dog with a duck.
I think we can also look at some of the other stuff that Ball State has coming up. I think we should have a graphic for that as well. I know definitely I believe we have Overwatch Tuesday. I was wrong. We don't have Overwatch Tuesday. So, of course, you're looking at the 2 Smash Bros. Streams that you're going to see. 2 Smash Bros. Matches. That's today. Wednesday, we have more CRL. That's going to be a long one. And then Thursday, we have an Overwatch doubleheader. You'll actually see me on all those streams. So I'll be here a lot this week.
Yeah, so there really is no need for you to introduce yourself, because
No,
everyone will be acquainted with you, especially by the end of this week.
Yeah, by the end of this week, if you don't know me by just looking at my face, yeah. But I guess we can talk about. We kind of already mentioned how the tournament works. You know, I guess it's not technically a tournament, but it's like how the format works, the crew format. Match predictions is a little bit harder with this, I feel like.
It definitely is, especially because at least we know at least a little bit when it comes to like UBuffalo and like Valorant and Overwatch, because again, like they've, as you just mentioned, we've been casting Valorant and Overwatch for a while now. This is our first time like ever having Smash as a sport, so like I don't know anything about UBuffalo's team and like what they can really bring. I
know for a fact that Akron is the #1 seed. I know that you know, Smash, we're a bit of a younger team, so we're still up and coming. I mean, I don't think it's I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Ball State loss, just because we're a younger team. You know, like I said, this is our first year competing in ESC, so I don't really know. I know that the Akron one, that's going to be like a tough one. Akron is, I'm pretty confident they're the #1 team in ESC, which is common for Akron, and you know, these games, you know, they are also very high ranked in Rocket League as well. So I don't really have like a match score. I'm pretty sure it is a best of 3 for each one. We'll see 2 matches tonight. So I don't know. I don't really know what to predict.
Yeah. I do think going against UBuffalo here at the start, I don't know much what to do. I want to say it's going to be a Ball State win, but that's of course just faith in Ball State.
Yeah, that's
and
just
knowing that Birds are going to be on top.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're going against Akron. I do believe they are the #1 seed right now, and I believe Ball State, as you mentioned, being a younger team, are one of the bottom 2 placing rankings right now. But we only have 1 win, and so I do think that match, both matches, will be a little bit of a struggle for us. But I do think we can pull through, and I think we at least can get a win against UBuffalo here. We'll have to see against Akron, them being the top team, but I have faith in our Birds.
Yeah, and speaking of UBuffalo, we do actually have a UBuffalo graphic, so we can look at their roster. So GermLol1, his name is ESC. I'm sure that's like escape key. But Blub, I'm gonna say Tristan for real and wins. I love that his name is ESC and he's playing in ESC. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Like
a lot of people in the Esports Center right now.
Yeah, sorry if you just see us like looking around. Just suddenly like a million people just walked in, but they're all here to watch the most amazing esports program ever. They're here to see the most amazing, beautiful casters at the desk.
Yeah, of course.
I assume that's why you're here.
That's why you're here.
But yeah, we don't have their characters they're going to play, so that will be a mystery, which I'm excited to see. I think the character you play in Smash, it's not only says a lot about like how you're going to play and like what you can do, but I think it says a lot about your character.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what these picks are, because if they're all Steve, that would be interesting. I do think,
I do not
That
want to
is
watch four
something
Steves.
I don't know if this is in this rules format, but usually one of the you only can have one person playing one character per the four on your team. So I don't think we're going to see all four Steves from UBuffalo.
Yeah, I'm assuming. And there's the likeliness that they have 4 Steve mains on their team is like so. I mean, there's so many characters in Smash. Like,
yeah,
it's very rare that I think people are usually pretty diehard with their Smash main. Like, I think it's pretty rare that someone's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to switch because this is the best character. I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I think that's like you only really see people do that when it's like the top tier for that game, or if like just if it's a super broken character. But yeah, I think especially in the Smash scene, a lot of people pick like the one character from when they were a kid and like, okay, I play this character now until I die.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, Bowser main till I die. Would love to see some Bowser. But that very rarely happens.
Bowser, unfortunately, with Smash, so as like many games, you know, there's kind of character archetypes that all the characters fall into, and Bowser falls into the heavy character archetype in Smash, which is pretty much just big and slow, but hits hard, like how kind of every heavy character really is in any game. But in Smash especially, that is really tough because Smash is a game kind of where the faster you can move and the faster you can react to the situation is like the better you're going to do. And so if you have this slow moving character, even if you react super fast, sometimes the character just doesn't. And so a lot of times the upper tier characters are, you're gonna see like Sonic. I do believe I think you mentioned, you said there's someone on Ball State that is a Sonic main, or,
I think
or play Sonic.
Yeah, they might play some
we
Sonic,
just saw their main, so I don't think they are Sonic main. But,
no, but they might play some Sonic.
But Sonic is one of the top characters in Smash, and this whole thing is he's like that fastest hedgehog in the world.
Yeah.
And so I think like that, his speed plays a factor into that.
Yeah, as well. That's like with Bowser or another heavy character. Like missing a move is so punishing because like you miss a move and then all of a sudden you're so slow to get back to be able to do another move essentially, and like you can just get punished for that immediately. It's just like immediately they'll just outspeed you and just go all in. So that is a rough thing with slow, heavy characters. So we probably won't see those as much. Like, you know, you saw with our team's main specifically. A lot of faster characters, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the heaviest character out of all of the characters or all the mains from our team, I think might be Samus.
Yeah.
Just because Samus is a little... Okay, and each character has like their own way, and I know relatively kind of where some characters fall, and Samus is kind of in this weird place where like she's a human, but she's also wearing this big suit of armor, so I don't really know how that affects things totally with her weight and everything. But I do know like Pac-Man, not a heavy character, you know, or same with Duck Hunt, so yeah. Those characters especially are going to be a lot more on that faster side. Yeah,
that's just kind of how it is with Smash. You will see. That is one thing is like people who get really, really good at the game, they also typically do like to play at least a semi-good character. Like they might switch if their character is just so bad that it doesn't work out.
I do know people who have had to switch because they're just like, I can't deal with playing this character anymore. They're so bad. Yeah. But most of the time, a lot of character switches, as we mentioned earlier, just don't happen, or they kind of come from like years of playing this character, or and they're just like, okay, I want to switch now.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to switch. I have hundreds of hours dedicated into this character. I don't want to switch. Because you know it can be a pretty big undertaking because like each character has like, I mean, besides the certain characters that like you kind of said are like the shadow characters are very similar. Like each character has a different move set and stuff like that, and like different movement, and they just all feel different. So that is kind of one thing where it can be hard to want to switch your character because like you just are starting over.
Yeah, you're completely starting over. Some of the characters can be so unique and different from every other character that can feel like you're playing a completely different game. But I think that's why especially you'll see, like, I think it's a little bit lower in this game, but I think mainly in Smash games you see a lot of people playing those sword characters.
Yeah, swordies.
Yeah, because one, there's so many sword characters in Smash. Oh my gosh, Fire Emblem alone is a whole conversation. But all these characters, you know, they have this main element of this sword, so they're gonna have to play at least a little bit similar. Or I think like the only cases I truly can think of a sword character playing semi-differently is we'll see characters like Pyra and Mithra is two sword characters that you can swap in between the match. So it's one person playing two different people at different times, but all within the same match. So that has to be a little different, and stuff like we might see some Shulk gameplay. Shulk is a very unique character because his sword is kind of made of light. I don't know too much about Xenoblade Chronicles lore, so don't ask me about that or why he can do that. But I just know he's got like this big, heavier sword, so that plays into his gameplay a little bit differently than characters you'll see, like probably we might see like a Lucina or a Marth, who are just kind of like people with swords.
Yeah, there are just literally people with swords that have very similar moves to each other. So that's just like, and then like another thing which is fun, like other characters from like the Pokemon in the game are all entirely different from each other because, you know, they're different Pokemon. That's kind of, there's a lot of Pokemon in the game too.
That is something with the Fire Emblem conversation is like people like to say like there's like 15 Fire Emblem characters in this game, like, oh, do we really need like more Fire Emblem heroes and stuff like that? And I remember thinking, I was like, there's like 20 Pokemon.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon.
There's a lot of Pokemon.
There's
in
one
Smash.
character that is just 3 Pokemon. Like,
there's one character that is 3 different Pokemon that at one point they did split back into one Pokemon, and then now it's back to 3. But yeah, like there's so many Pokemon you can play, but no one talks about this problem with Pokemon because, one, I think people just like Pokemon a lot more than Fire Emblem. And 2, because yeah, like as you said, just every single Pokemon is pretty unique. Oh, but we're getting into our first match here. We're going to Galuna playing Luigi and not the Yoshi we saw on the roster screen, going against Germ playing a Mewtwo right now, and they are on Battlefield, Pokemon Stadium 2. This is a pretty classic starting stage that we're going to see in Smash Bros. Flat platform with 2 little floating platforms. Great for pretty much every character here, but so far Galuna is killing it right now with 100% to 0.
yeah, hasn't taken any damage yet, but looking like I may almost just cause the caster curse there. I do, but looking like they might be able to get that stock off. There we go. So every stock taken off is actually pretty valuable in the scope of the whole match because, you know, it is a shared sort of thing. But Galuna just going in, doing even more damage, getting that percentage up even more, kind of holding back a little bit right now. Gets that nice plunger stick there. Gonna do that attack, combo him into the air. Gonna maybe back up a little bit here. It's gonna take some damage from Mewtwo now. Gets a nice retaliate with that spin move. That's another stock down.
Yeah, Germ really's gotta look out for that Luigi down B. It can really kill at very low percents, which is kind of Luigi's whole thing. He has so many moves that can just kill you, especially if he gets, I was about to say, there's a whole grab sequence that can kill you at 0 if you could hit it, which he tried to land there, but just, it's hard to hit. But yeah, this is really bad for UBuffalo right now. Not even close to really taking one stock from Galuna right now. And a good way to think about it is kind of like each, you know, UBuffalo themselves has 3 stocks per the 4 people. So it's kind of like they have 12 stocks in total, and this is kind of like just losing 3 off the bat for no reason. But if Germ can somehow clinch at least a stock from Galuna, I think this would be at least a better situation for UBuffalo. But Galuna's doing a really good job at kind of just camping out Germ. You know, Mewtwo has that Shadow Ball, but doesn't really have any other option from far ranges, while Luigi can just, especially with the stock advantage, can kind of just sit back, throw out that plunger and his own fireballs, and, you know, just keep things going his way.
He's got Germ to pretty high percentage now, doing some edge guarding here, just kind of maybe try and force him to make a mistake and sort of fall to his death on that last stock on high percentage as well. Goes for the plunger once again. Goes for the tail, but I don't think he's going to be able to get up from that one. Yeah. And it's going to be a 3 stock from Galuna.
Yeah, great start for Ball State here. Went for that back air as Mewtwo, but unfortunately, Mewtwo's back air has a lot of end lag and just aren't able to recover when you do it that low or that low down in the stage. But a great first match from Ball State, just completely dominant showing. And so what do you, I guess, what do you think?
I mean, that is definitely a really good way to start out. I mean, just a total 3 stock. I mean, that first one was almost, I mean, Galuna barely took any damage till late in that first game. And yeah, so that was pretty good from Ball State. You know, like we said, we're kind of going into this a little unexpected. We don't really know what we're going to like see from either team here, but right now it's looking like Ball State might have the upper hand. I would say I love that Luigi down B. That's one of my favorite moves in the game. I personally use it on Dr. Mario. That's the character I play with that move. But that is such a fun move to use. It is very punishing, especially at high percentage. That can kill pretty easily there.
Yeah, Luigi is just kind of known for being able to kill off of just the craziest things. Because he's just such a wacky, goofy guy. Such a wacky, goofy character. And I think Luna really showed that and how that wackiness and that goofiness can really be a strength, especially against this Mewtwo that really was just trying to make something happen, but was falling for kind of just the same stuff, the same combos. And I mean, he lost 2 stocks to that down B, which after a while you just gotta try and refresh and be like, okay, what can I do differently if I'm dying? If I die twice to this down B, how do I make sure that doesn't happen for my 3rd stock? And unfortunately, I don't think he was just able to really find that.
Yeah, just kind of struggling there too. And what we kind of also saw from Galuna is, you know, he wasn't playing super aggressively either. I mean, neither one of them really were. But there was a lot of holding back, playing with space, which, you know, I feel like that is kind of how you play Luigi. I feel like I don't know much about in terms of like how each individual character is played, but I feel like, you know, you got to play with that space. You don't want to be too aggressive because if you overcommit, you can be punished from that. So he did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, he did a really good job of that. With Luigi especially, you're not going to really want to be trying to like stay super far away, but you're not going to be trying to get up really close in the enemy's face all the time. And Galuna did a really good job at kind of keeping that distance, as you saw with that plunger, which is actually his grab. Most characters have kind of just like a grab that you could, when they're in that close range there, but they gave Luigi kind of that plunger grab, which gives him more range and allows him to keep that medium distance really well, while also like, if that grab hits, as I mentioned it during that game, he does have a 0 to death confirmed kill that can happen, especially against these characters with bigger hitboxes like Mewtwo. So if like that grab can be really dangerous if they get it, especially I assume, like as I mentioned, if you're playing Mewtwo, you're gonna want to try and avoid that as best as you can.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Going into the next one here, so it'll still be Galuna is Germ again.
They're probably just playing on one person's account, so this probably isn't actually Galuna playing the Luigi. That does make a lot more sense. I do know sometimes they like to change their names because with how Smash works, the controls kind of are attached to the name you choose, but it looks like they're just kind of using Galuna and Germ. Oh! And a nice forward smash call out there for, I'm just going to say Ball State now, since we don't know exactly who's playing. A nice forward smash there for Ball State, get in that first stock quick.
Yeah, great stuff from them right now. So we're kind of keeping up what we saw earlier. Taking a little bit more damage here, looking like they might just lose a stock. They do so, but they have a nice little bit of a deficit built in there with the 29% brought in.
Yeah, and despite losing that stock, I guess fairly early, you got to remember that is Ball State's first stock compared to UBuffalo is down 4 stocks right now. So this is still good for Ball State, even though they did lose that stock fairly early.
Yeah, so I did hear it is a Skittle on Luigi. I was just told that. So that is who is playing currently, just playing with the Balloon, and they're probably playing on the same Switch currently. A little bit high on percentage right now, and definitely going to lose a stock there to that Captain Falcon. Great little edge tactic there. So let's see how he can respond to that one.
Yeah, Captain Falcon has got a lot of that movement that we're talking about, but unlike Luigi, he really does want to be in your face. And it makes it a lot harder to kind of stay away from him when he has stuff like that Falcon kick that takes him halfway across the stage, and he's got that up B which can grab you from even if you're not in the air. But right now, I guess Skittles is doing a really good job at trying to keep that distance. Gets another great forward smash out there, and if they can somehow get this third stock from UBuffalo, this would be an amazing lead for Ball State.
Yeah, definitely. Gonna want to try to take as little damage as possible. 99%, that could very well kill. Does get a nice grab here.
I try to go for the grab thing a bit, but I think they messed it up a tiny bit. Going for that side B misfire, but
he doesn't get the ledge.
Captain Falcon doesn't get the ledge, goes out for that edge guard, and is gonna end up SDing there, which is, wow, interesting. You know, I was thinking about it a bit. We saw that Captain Falcon edge guarding a lot on that map, and I kind of can understand why. Luigi does have a lot of more mobility that he can do in the air than Captain Falcon does. But I was gonna comment about how, like, oh, he's not really going out there much, and I think I can see, you know, why he wasn't going out there. He goes out there one time for a kill, and then unfortunately it ends up in maybe one of the worst ways he could have imagined it going.
Yeah, those kind of moments where you're like out on the ledge and you're really like playing aggressive, really trying to edge guard. They're scary, because it's like, you know, if you don't get back there, if you jump when you shouldn't have jumped, you're falling. Like, that's how it kind of goes. And in that situation, just maybe got a little bit, you know, you have less percentage. You know, you probably could have sealed the kill in a different way than that. So maybe playing a little bit overly aggressive there, costing UBuffalo a little bit. But Ball State still at the stock advantage, so
yeah,
pretty well
that went great for Ball State. Not only do they still keep their stock advantage, but they have an even bigger stock advantage from going now from three stocks to they are now up.
They've lost 2, and the other team has lost 6. So it should be 4. They're up 4 stocks,
which is more than a whole other guy.
So if they can keep that up, that is like exactly what you want to see there. So in the next game, you should see the Ball State player that will be playing on 1 stock, and I think it will be Skittle again. I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
they'll be on 1 stock versus a 3. So here you're just kind of looking to get a stock off, you know, because you're probably, unless you can do like the reverse and 3 stock, you're looking to get a stock. Yeah, so he's going to jump off the edge twice to get himself to 1 stock.
Yeah, and Skittles is just really going to want to try and get 1 stock, maybe. You see that emote there. If you see that emote come out later in the thing, that just means both players are ready, just so you know. But yeah, just going for 1 stock here, because there's a good chance he's not going to end up winning this game unless he can hit something crazy right here. Almost does, gets that hero up to 65%, but he is retaliating right back. Ooh, goes for a nice little up B sweet spot, maybe to confirm that 1 stock, but just isn't going to work out for him. It's going to take a little bit more damage.
Yeah, really, Luigi's goal here, Skittles' goal, is to just try to get at least 1 stock off of Germ here. You know, you're playing at such a disadvantage because you won the last game. Doing good right now at 102%, seeing what he can maybe do. Go for a little bit of an edge guarding tactic, but nothing really going to come of it that time. But gets a nice punch there, gets the stock off. Great stuff.
Goes for that forward smash that unfortunately didn't hit, and I thought, okay, he's going to get punished here, but just enough end time there to avoid the punishment and punish the punish with an up smash that does get the kill. And yeah, UBuffalo is really going to be scrambling now, which is just leading to them panicking more, and now they're at a higher percent than that Skittles is.
Yeah, so this is absolutely huge if Skittle can get another stock off here, because they were just really putting Ball State into a stock advantage right now, and as of now, it's looking like he's going to do it. He has him at very high percentage, you know. A big hit from Luigi could kill, but Germ does get a nice hit. Galuna almost able to recover. It does do so. And he is going to be able to get another stock on.
Wow, yeah, that you had the zoom in screen there. I thought it was going to be the end for Skittles there, but good that has that good DI and is able to live there. And we got only edge guarding from UBuffalo there. Gonna land that sleep, gets the forward smash, ending Skittles' reign. But getting 2 stocks there as Skittles is amazing.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. That is like the maximum you're expected to do, you know. At most, you're hoping for like getting a stock, you know, just increasing your lead a little bit. But to get 2 is absolutely huge there because you're starting with only 1. So now UBuffalo will go into the next game with only 1 stock against a 3-stock Ball State player. So now the goal is kind of switched here. The goal is essentially now don't lose any stocks. You know, try not to waste a stock on a player who only has 1 stock.
Yeah, unfortunately, that hero I think was playing that first stock really, really well, and then they lost it and everything fell apart for a second. Skittles was in the zone, or they just weren't able to keep up, or something was happening, and they ended up losing that second stock and is in a very bad situation for UBuffalo now because, like you said, like, they swapped situations, but this isn't like UBuffalo can't tell their next player, okay, just try and get 1 stock, or if you can get 2, like Skills did, because they're down by so much now.
It's you have to go for you have to win this next, you know, you have to go for the 3 stock and try to win outright this match. And that's so hard to do when you're starting off on only 1 stock. And that's just kind of what happens when you put yourself in this bit of a deficit. So they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I honestly am hoping what to see from UBuffalo here is a lot more riskier plays. A lot of their players are just edge guarding there. They're not really going out deep for any of the kills, which I would really like to see a change in that, because I do think that is kind of where a little bit of where their game plan falls apart. Although we did see the one Captain Falcon death happen because he went out there to get the kill. I do think that could be scaring the other members of UBuffalo a little bit, but hey, each game is a different game, a different match, and you gotta come at it with a new mentality.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to sort of make those bit. You know, they're kind of playing really safe right now. You know, don't want to lose stocks doing something stupid. But you know, when you're at this deficit, you kind of need to try anything you can. You know.
Yeah, and yeah, you need to try anything you can, especially when UBuffalo really is in a very struggling part of this crew battle now. They only have 4 stocks left in total, and they've only taken 3 of Ball State's. So not only do they have this pressure of like, okay, you gotta go and win 3 stock this guy and win this game, then they're hoping he goes and does it again on the next guy for Ball State, which I really don't think is going to happen. So honestly, I think if I'm UBuffalo right now, I'd be thinking, about how are we going to approach game 2? How are we going to choose, like, what maps are we going to choose? Are we going to switch our characters? Because all of that does play a role into how you're going to do in these matches. But I do think they just need to play just a tiny little bit differently, need to be a little less aggressive when they are losing, and needs to be a little more aggressive when they're winning.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Just needs to find something different to do. You know, what you're doing right now is not working. You know, to lose 2 stocks to a 1-stock player, that's not really what you want to have happen. So they definitely need to change something up. You know, try a different play style. You know, especially right now. I mean, Luigi is just kicking their butts. You know, they need to find something to work around this Luigi here, and just because I feel like they've played back-to-back good matchups against Luigi, but it's just not really working out. Like, I feel like Captain Falcon's a fairly decent matchup against Luigi, and it's just not really working out too well for them.
Yeah, Captain Falcon does like a pretty good job against Luigi, especially when it comes to the momentum that Captain Falcon was able to get at points during their match. And I really do think it was just unfortunate that he just lost that 3rd stock in there. But we're seeing that duck hunt come out for Ball State here. And they're going back to Battlefield 2, which is going to be, honestly, I think a better pick for Ball State here, because Duck Hunt He's got a lot of interesting attacks. As you're going to see a big explosive can come out a lot, which that is going to do wonders for him. That frisbee is also going to help a lot with these platforms. But so far, not looking too good. Gonna get hit by the sleep, but Hero misses the punish. And now Duck Hunt, just gonna try and keep a further distance than ever before.
Yeah, so this is green spiral on the Duck Hunt. Great usage of the can there. Duck Hunt just has so much options to like use. That smash attack right there is absolutely, it's very powerful. You can use the can to do some big damage. Use the frisbee as well, which can do a lot of damage if you press B as it's hitting them. So Duck Hunt has a lot of options, and he's using them really well to get this player to really high percentage. They're going to go for that down B. Maybe we're going to see what he can do. I believe that's the down B. He goes for the smash attack, but a nice block by UBuffalo, but still on very high percentage. Duck Hunt going to use those smash attacks too. Even more, kind of surprised that they lived there, and now going to go for the can, see if they can maybe get the kill. A nice block as well from UBuffalo once again.
Yeah, just this Duck Hunt making a lot of good reads right now, but this Hero is just somehow staying on, and they're going to get that kill with a kaboom. I was wondering, they were throwing out a lot of spells there, just hoping one of them connects. One of them finally does, and there we go. Duck Hunt finally gets that forward smash, and I think this is, kind of saw firsthand the weaknesses of Duck Hunt there, because he can do so much damage, especially when you get these combos with the cans and the frisbees, and he got a lot of good reads out there too, with a lot of back airs and just neutral airs, but he got him up to somewhere about 150% and just was not able to secure that kill quick enough and lost the stock because of it. But thankfully, with the lead Ball State has right now, I don't think that stock matters too much.
Yeah, I would agree. Like with Duck Hunt, I also play a lot of Duck Hunt, and some of his kind of issues are his attacks themselves are kind of slow as well. Like they're predictable. You can predict where the can's gonna go. You can predict what the frisbee's gonna do, and they're easy to block. So yeah, and eventually you can maybe throw them off with a can or a frisbee. But once they're at that high percentage, they're gonna be locked in. They're gonna be like blocking, and that's where you kind of see the weakness of Duck Hunt come through. He also, I feel like, struggles a little bit at close range, but like that's just in my opinion. Maybe I'm just bad.
No, Duck Hunt definitely does struggle in close range. He's kind of built for, it's weird because he has like these smash attacks, or everyone has smash attacks, but these smash attacks that are definitely meant to be like, I would say like pretty close range.
Yeah, I would agree.
They go out a little bit further than some smash attacks do, so they're definitely not meant to be like right up in your face. But he also like has like the cowboy guy with the gun that can just shoot you literally from across the stage. That he's got that frisbee that's kind of more of a middle like distance kind of weapon, and then he's got the can that can be literally kind of any length depending on how many kicks you get into it and where you place it at the start. It depends a lot, and yeah, Duck Hunt is just a very unique character that just really doesn't fit into a lot of, I think, like the archetype of what a lot of Smash players usually like to play as. But I'm very glad that we get to see I see a player play Duck Hunt, especially very well.
Yeah.
In this tournament.
He's a fun character to watch someone who's really good at and play, just because like he has all these options. And I've always found more success with Duck Hunt when you're playing like a 1v1v1 or something like that, like with 4 players or 3 players, because they're not always focused on you, so you can kind of like go up on a platform and just like spam cans or something. Like when in a 1v1 situation, Duck Hunt can be kind of hard to play, because like he has these smash attacks that should theoretically be good close range, but like they take a while to deploy and they're kind of easy to predict. And yeah, Duck Hunt can kind of struggle, but it is fun to see, and he had success as Duck Hunt there, managed to get that player out. But yeah, like you said, once at high percentage, did kind of struggle to get the kill off. So we're still going to see more Duck Hunt in this next one on 2 stocks. So
yeah, going into UBuffalo's last player here, going against that Duck Hunt, I am excited to see who they're going to play and how they're going to play it, because normally, when you're deciding, okay, who's coming up next for your team, you're thinking about, okay, well, if they're playing Luigi, and I play, you know, this character that's normally really bad against Luigi, but I also play this character that's like okay or semi-good against Luigi. Okay, I'm just gonna play this character. But with Duck Hunt, like, not many characters are worse than Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
And when you look at like a tier list ranking of how most of the community views the characters, you're not going to see a lot of characters that really fall below Duck Hunt. So I don't think that conversation is really coming to mind. But that makes me wonder, like, what conversation is coming to mind then?
Yeah, like what kind of are they thinking? It looks like they're going to go with Link here. I believe, which Link is that?
This is Young Link.
Yeah, Young Link. So now, Young Link has, a lot of projectiles, a lot of bombs. He can be a very annoying character to play against, especially with that bow and arrow as well that you're kind of seeing there. But fairly even on the percentage right now. Duck Hunt a little bit on higher percent, getting beat up by some of those projectiles. Going to go for maybe the frisbee there. Going to go for that down B. Going to maybe try and sneak a cannon there. Nothing really going to come of this time. Going to maybe try to send the can over, but Germ with a decent read is going to send him right into that can. Goes for another one, but UBuffalo with the block. So great stuff there. But again, Duck Hunt already on higher percentage.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be tougher for this Duck Hunt right now because Young Link is considered the best of the 3 Links in Smash Ultimate, and it's also going to be tough because he's this more long-range character like Duck Hunt is, but not only is he long-range, he has more long-range attacks that go farther. He's got that arrow that he can shoot that just goes straight and can do a decent amount of damage. He has a bomb of his own that he can throw wherever he wants. He doesn't need to kick it, and he also has that boomerang that just he can angle it a lot more differently than Duck Hunt can, say like his frisbee. So it's just a lot more deadly to go against this Young Link. But so far, I mean, Duck Hunt got that one stock despite him being at 156% right now. So UBuffalo still falling behind.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like Ball State really having the advantage here. It looks like he might just lose this time, but Duck Hunt has a great recovery, and he has a lot of movement as well. So he's doing a good job of sort of evading these attacks. A very high percent, trying not to take any more damage. Any hit at this point could be a deadly one. Of course, still does have another stock. Is going to lose that one there.
A nice down tilt to forward air confirm there from UBuffalo, and they're going to try and hopefully get this momentum moving a little bit more in their favor, going for a lot more ranged attacks, which I like to see because they're not trying to get that kill in. But, I mean, already it seems to be working out, getting that Duck Hunt up to 68%. But a little bit of retaliation here from Duck Hunt, but still, it's going to be harder. He's going to see just jumping around these arrows and these boomerangs. They're kind of causing a lot of problems for him. He doesn't know how to really get in against him. Going to get that grab, goes out for a little bit, maybe for a guard there, but just isn't able to do it because completely blocked out by that boomerang.
Yeah, so this Young Link, really using their projectiles well. And, Duck Hunt already struggles at close range, but now he's struggling to even get to close range. Great hit from the Young Link there, and that is going to take Duck Hunt out of this one.
Yeah, another nice little forward air right there. And I do think, like, even though he only lost one stock, I do think that Duck Hunt did a really good job there, especially as, like, what we were talking about earlier. You're coming down with a deficit. You're just like, hey, maybe get 1 or 2 stocks here. He did have 2 stocks, so they're probably hoping for maybe one or at least one more. But when you're up the amount that Ball State is, now it is, what, 2 stocks to 6? I don't think they're worried entirely too much about, going against this really bad matchup right now, because they have 2 other people that they could choose Young Link's worst matchup right now and just completely get those other 2 stocks if they wanted to. But I guess we're just going to have to see.
Yeah, all just going to kind of have to see here. So I do believe how this works is if this is the final, game, I think that this would mean that Ball State is up 1-0, and then they would need to do basically everything that we just watched again.
Yes.
To solidify a 2-0 and win. As well, one thing that interests me, I have casted this crew format before, And what interests me about it is like how you decide your team composition, like where you put your team in. Like, do you save your best player for last?
Yeah.
Do you put your best player up first? Do you put him in the middle? You know, how do you kind of figure out what you do there?
Yeah, it's a really tough decision to make, especially in Smash, because there's just so many different things you can do. You can put your best player in, but then at the start, but then have them play a different character. You could put them in the back and then have them play, you know, their main that they've been playing for their entire lives. And so there's all this like uniqueness to it that really does like elevate the game to, I think, a higher status that just makes it so fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like, do you put your best character last, best player last, in hopes of that, like maybe you're at a crazy deficit and you just are hoping that they can clutch up, so you just put your best player last or something like that. You know, there could be a lot of strategy to it. Or do you put your best player first to get a lead? You know, it's like, what do you do? How do you decide it? And that's always interesting to see with how these teams do it. You know, I have casted this crew when we did, I'm struggling to remember the name, but you know, it's this high school event that we host every year. They did Smash, and I casted that one. And yeah, there was a lot of strategy to watch there with that. So I'm wondering how they're arranging it. Are they going to switch it up for the next series, the next game? Like, are they going to switch it up?
Yeah, honestly, I do think they're probably thinking about that, especially, I mean, even with not just like here at Ball State, but I think like UBuffalo has to be thinking about like how they're going to switch things around, because as we saw so far, the order they have their players in isn't really doing well. But this kind of comes into another one of the reasons why I really like this aspect of the crew battles is then you also have to think, well, what if they switch everything around?
Yeah.
Then it's like, what if they read that we're now gonna put our Captain Falcon first?
Yeah.
So then we're gonna do this first. And there's just so many levels of mind games that you can do. But I do think so what do you think character-wise do you think that UBuffalo would need to change around, if anything?
Well, I think that they really struggled against that Luigi, and they might, you know, assuming that they would assume that Ball State's going to do that again. So they might really want to try to find, you know, a character that really makes Luigi uncomfortable. I don't think they should be worried about like the duck hunt here. Yeah. You know, the duck hunt got a few stocks off, but like I don't think you should be worried about countering duck hunt. Like, you know, that's going to happen naturally. Duck hunt's not that good. I feel like you really want to try to work around the Luigi pick, because, you know, we had 2 players in a row play Luigi, or 1 player play Luigi. And, you know, he got a lot of stocks off on you. So maybe try to figure out how to work around, assuming he plays Luigi again, though, you know?
Yeah. Skittles, I believe, is Luigi and Toon Link main. So there's no even guarantee that next match he was even going to play Luigi, which I do love to see when that happens in crew battles, because it's so funny just to be like, they're expecting this one major thing and it doesn't happen. But yeah, right now, I completely agree with you. I would be worrying about Ball State's Luigi if I was at UBuffalo right now. And if I'm at Ball State, I'd probably be thinking, well, like, might as well save Skittles for later. Put him more as an anchor in the back, because, you know, we just saw what he can really do. But going into that last match, we got this Lucario here versus that young Link. Or maybe last match, I shouldn't say that, but it is going to be tough for UBuffalo to make a comeback here, because even if, let's say, they do make it out and beat Lucario here right now, they would have to face one more member of Ball State to win this match.
So this is Soup Can Sam on that Lucario. One thing I do kind of find funny about this is Soup Can Sam actually also plays a lot of Pokken. So really sticking to that Pokemon theme. But right now, just doing a lot of great damage to this young Link here. Got him up to 62% already, but young Link doing some nice combos there. trying to equal the percentage. Basically does so. Nice hit from the Lucario, though. Lucario's got some interesting mechanics that can be worked with there, and that was a big hit right there.
Yeah, one thing about Lucario in Smash is actually as the more he loses, the stronger he becomes. So that's kind of an interesting putting him in kind of near the end of the thing here, because the higher the percentage, the harder he's going to hit. And I actually don't know if his stock or the number of stocks he has, if that also influences it. But, oh, with that back air at 136, that is definitely going to be killing that young Link. And he's going to retaliate right there with a forward air. But, I mean, it's kind of just like resetting the match back to the start. You're still down one stock as UBuffalo. You got to make something happen here. And, oh, this might be it. On the edge, Lucario's got to make it back, but he's going to make it back. Rolling to the inwards there. Going to try and keep up that combo, but going to let it drop. And just return back to throwing their boomerangs and bombs.
Yeah, this UBuffalo player essentially is just trying to pull off the ultimate comeback here. Right now, they're doing a very good, you're off to a very good start. You know, you have Lucario at very, very high percentage. You got him down a stock at least, but, you know, right now, you are the last thing that UBuffalo has. Gets a nice stock off there, though.
Yeah, no, this is looking pretty bad for Ball State here. Lucario is a character that is going to be wanting to get up close to their enemy's face and just fighting them as close as possible. Ooh, gets a nice little counter there. You don't see that a lot with Lucario. But, yeah, with this Link right now, they're just trying to keep that distance to a maximum, which that second stock they were really able to do, and it worked out for them. But right now, ooh, another good counter there for Ball State. But yeah, the third stock still working out for them a lot, but not working out for them as much as it did the second stock.
Yeah, and if I'm Ball State, I really just kind of want to try to end this here. Ooh.
Accidentally upbeat, gonna have to free fall, gets a free forward smash, but gets that another upbeat there, but Lucario just grabs the ledge right before young Link can, and this isn't Melee. In Melee, you can take the ledge from people, but in Ultimate, you cannot. He's just gonna fall to his death, and that is gonna be 1-0 for Ball State, and yeah.
Yeah, that is that, yeah. Are we right? We should be right. That should be 1-0. For Ball State, so they're gonna have to, you know, play UBuffalo again. But overall, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of notes for Ball State. I mean, I think they played that one pretty well, and you know, we're pretty dominant throughout. I mean, you know, it looked a little dicey there in that young Link Lucario matchup, but you know, it's a tougher matchup for Lucario. So I think that overall, I think that if Ball State can do what they just did again, they will pretty much take the series.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. If Ball State could literally do everything exactly that they just did, but even worse, and I think they still could pull it out, because like you gotta think like Ball State still had a fourth member that didn't even get to play that match. So UBuffalo is gonna have to be thinking about a lot of stuff and like what they're gonna have to change here, because I do think they're really gonna have to worry about that Skittles on Luigi. I think he right now is the biggest threat to them, and I think what they either are going to have to do right now is okay, well, first off, we should say, do you think Ball State's going to start off with Skittles again leading into game 2, or do you think, how do you think that's going to work?
It's tough to say. I mean, do you save him, the one who they had the most trouble against? Do you save him till the end? You know, like, do you just in case you're in this crazy deficit and you need a miracle? Like, do you save him to the end? I think it might be smart to start. You know, I think it might be smarter to build a lead. So I think you maybe you don't start with him, but maybe you put him in second. Maybe you start him. Just kind of see, you know, try to build up that deficit again, you know, build up a lead, because you can play a lot more comfortably when you're playing from a lead. So I would probably put him at either the first or second slot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think first or second would be a really good slot to put him in, because first, well, we saw what he can do when he's the first player coming up. I don't need to explain any of that to you. Just was an absolute menace for UBuffalo. But putting it in second would allow, one, if UBuffalo is thinking that, okay, they're going to lead with Skittles again, they're going to go Luigi again, and they try to go for a counter pick of character or player, that just wouldn't work out if they don't go Skittles again. But if you have him second, you know, then let's say they go someone else and Ball State absolutely gets steamed this first game, Skittles in second, and then he steams them for the next 2 and takes out 2 players like we just saw him do, then like we're still Ball State is up there in that situation. So I do think first or the second slot is a good place to put him there. But I do think, like my guess is I don't think he's gonna be first.
Yeah, I feel like they might want to mix it up because say they are assuming he's gonna be first and they go for that hard counter, and then all of a sudden, our hard counter's not there for Luigi. You know, so maybe they aren't gonna put him first, but do they predict that they're not gonna put him first?
That's the thing with
the
crew
fun
battles.
with this crew battle. I do actually really enjoy this format. I think it's a really good way. I think it's a really fun competitive Smash format. It's because you have stuff like this. Like, what are they gonna do? You have no idea. Are they just gonna do the same thing? Like, are they just gonna do exactly the same?
We quite literally could just see both teams throw out the exact same players, exact same characters, and we see the exact same game happen for game 2. But I don't think that is what's gonna happen. I do think so. Ball State. I'm trying to think like who would they send out first here. So we don't even know who that 4th player was, so we don't know what they would have played.
I'm pretty confident we didn't even actually see Galuna, because I know his name was Galuna the whole time, but I think Skittle started and we never actually saw who is like the coach. I like the coach, the captain type player. So like I don't think we actually ever saw him. Yeah,
Galuna, I saw from the graphic, and I know a little bit from talking to him and playing. I've played a few games with him a bit. Seems just like a die-hard Yoshi player. Yeah. We saw him practicing a little bit before stream started. He was only playing Yoshi, so I'm expecting. I agree. I don't think he even played in that match, and I do think that could lead. I was thinking they weren't going to start with their 4th person, because I'm thinking, they haven't even played yet. You know, they're not. I guess they're probably warmed up, but they're not like warmed up. They haven't been in the match. But they could start out with this 4th person, which I'm assuming is probably Galuna, to just be this like the complete misdirection for UBuffalo. And if Galuna is the captain, then I would have a lot of I assume like he has a lot of strengths that he can just throw out in just no time with no warm-up needed.
Yeah, so that is a strategy. Play your one player who hasn't played first, or you maybe just save him till last again. Try to mix it up. I think they do. I think they definitely should do something different here. I don't think that they should just do the same thing, because that you don't want to get predictable. So I think that they should mix it up.
Predictability in Smash is kind of the thing that determines if you're going to win or lose. You'll see that a lot because they're going to often see a lot of characters going for predictions in their matches, but seeing the start right now, we got Lucario versus that Captain Falcon on PS2. I do like both of the starts for UBuffalo and Ball State. Not starting out with that Skittles again, which I think that's why they started Captain Falcon. I think that would have been a lot better of a matchup if they started with Skittles, but having this Lucario here is going to be an interesting change of pace, because they're both characters that are just straight, like, in-your-face fighters who are just going to be beating each other up. So I don't know how that's going to really work out for them.
So yeah, as I kind of predicted, this is going to be Supkan-sen of the Lucario main. Taking a lot of damage right now from this Captain Falcon here. Going to maybe want to back up a little bit. Very, like you said, very two in-their-face characters just kind of brawling it out. So right now, Ball State at a little bit of the receiving end of it. Going to want to try and get some more damage on the board here. Maybe try to equalize these percentages here. Kind of just trading missed blows, but Captain Falcon is going to get a nice hit onto Lucario here. Going to try and maybe retaliate.
Yeah, Lucario going for some predictions, but just unfortunately not going to be able to make them come true. but still holding his own. And as you got to remember with Lucario is, although while he gets higher up on percent, he does get a higher chance of dying, but he also does get stronger. So there is a possibility with the higher percentage that Soup-Can-Sam gets, that he'll be able to get this stock sooner than he would if he was at 0.
Yeah, do you think it's maybe a strategy, you know, to let yourself get a little bit higher percentage? Because obviously, you know, it's a mechanic of your character. Like, do you intentionally take just a little bit more damage just so you can maybe have that higher, like, output? Ooh,
goes
big
for that,
miss.
Goes for that Falcon Punch. Was it very risky because it definitely would have killed, but such a slow move, and it definitely just gets punished there by Lucario, giving up that first stock. And UBuffalo starting with a deficit again, but if this Captain Falcon can get this stock now, it won't be for nothing. But especially now we're seeing, Captain Phil Falcon Kick comes out, gets that kill, and I think a decent amount of percent that he's still really kind of in this, you know. If he can get a few combos off, which especially seems like he's doing, he's going to get that percent lead back, which he does.
Yeah, this is already a better start for UBuffalo, you know, not immediately receiving a 3 stock right at the start of the game like they did last time. But this one is still very close here, very equal on percentage right now. So Lucario doing some big damage right now. Kind of risky to charge up right next to the Captain Falcon like that, but, you know, manages to back up. Got this Captain Falcon to pretty high percentage right now. Gonna maybe want to try and keep this up, approaching 100% for him. Lucario taking a little bit more damage as well, but like we've said, you know, the higher the percentage he is, the stronger that he gets, and that's a big hit right there.
Yeah, gonna get that side B there, which is just great for Lucario if he gets that grab, especially at these higher percentage, or these higher percentages that he is at. But those Falcon Kicks are just really catching him out on the floor there, and he's gonna have to move around them differently. Going for those charges up right next to Captain Falcon, that you pointed out, which definitely are risky, but if he can hit them when he's charging it up on the side, there is a hitbox there that Captain Falcon can be caught in, which he's getting a little bit of hits on, but I don't think at this higher percentage it's what you really want to be going for. But I do like the way, how he's playing around this Captain Falcon now. Just kind of charging up and keeping this distance, although Lucario is a character you want to stay far away from. He's going to get up close just to get that kill. And yet, right now, UBuffalo they're trading back and forth, but just is not able to get that stock first. Coming down to last stock. No, whoever gets this is the winner of this match and will take the lead going into match 2.
Yeah, if the pattern that's sort of been going on follows, this will probably be Soup-Can-Sam who's going to take this one, would be my guess. I already got this Captain Falcon up to pretty high percentage here, finally taking a little bit of damage. So yeah, Ball State not as big of a lead as they had going into the second game this time. But, you know, taking 2 stocks, you just like, now the goal here is just, let's just win this, you know, have a 1 stock advantage. And then just kind of sort of slowly build that deficit this time. Gets a nice hit, going to send the Captain Falcon off the map, goes for that Orbium charge. Like you said there, did manage to get a little bit of damage from it, and now doing some big damage to Captain Falcon there.
Yeah, Captain Falcon again. I was about to say surviving on his own way, but right as I say that, gonna get that back air, securing the kill for Ball State, which a great first game for both teams there. Definitely a lot better of a start for UBuffalo. That Captain Falcon really was just able to kind of go toe for toe a little bit with Lucario, but just wasn't able to secure those kills, both those first stocks, which really I think is what led to them and losing that match.
Yeah, so Ball State now has a 1 stock advantage here. So now the kind of the goal really here, like we said before, is, you know, just try to get at least a stock off. You know, getting 2 would be amazing. Extend that lead with what we're going to see Soup-Can-Sam and Lucario again in the next game. So now it's kind of thinking, what is UBuffalo going to send out here to try to maybe not allow that to happen for this Lucario?
Honestly, I'm trying to think what characters they have. They got that Mewtwo, they have Young Link, and I'm forgetting right now, Hero. Hero is the other character they have played, and I honestly think Young Link or Hero probably is going to be what they're going to send out right now, because yeah, there's only the one stock, and one, not only is it only one stock, but it's really bad that it's Lucario with one stock, because although he does still have that ability, and he is going to have that a little bit with being on one stock, it's not really going to affect him too much if he's at 100 and dies, because then he's not going to come back. But I think, yeah, having that Young Link or that Hero who can try and maybe keep a little bit of distance but still has those heavy hits is what they're going to try and do here.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, sort of work around the Lucario. And yeah, you are right. Lucario, not the best character to have on one stock, I would say. Because, yeah, like you get that high percentage more damage advantage. But, like, you know, he's not going to be high percentage for very long. Like, he only has one stock. So once he is, you know, once he's dead, he's done. So it is a little bit of a tough spot for Ball State. They do have that stock advantage. Just basically the goal right now is just try to get at least one stock off of this next. At least one. 2 would be amazing. I mean, 3.
If we get a 3 stock here from Soup Kansan, guys, I think I might explode.
Yeah,
so,
I might just explode. That would be pretty.
Yeah, it will cut back to you're going to hear me go, oh my god.
It'll just cut back. He won't be here anymore.
Yeah, it'll just be Wyatt
covered in like
in just
ash.
So Zane just exploded.
Zane died.
And they do send in that Hero, which I do think probably is the better pick out of the Young Link there, just because Hero does have a little bit less range, but he does have a lot heavier of hits, especially from that long range, especially 2 attacks in already gets the Lucario at 34%. But Lucario striking back, taking the, gets the percent lead for a little bit, but just already Lucario is at 60% right now, which is bad.
Yeah, that is definitely rough. You're not the situation you want to be in, and that's kind of what we talked about, you know, just with Lucario not being the best character because he has to get in their face, and it's just really struggle. It's just a really big struggle when you're playing a character like Hero as well. I don't have much experience with Hero, but it looks like he is going to get a stock off. Absolutely huge there for Ball State, extending their advantage just a little bit.
Incredibly huge.
Now I could say you can kind of play a little bit more aggressive. You know, you did what you have to do.
Ooh, yeah. I would agree, but caught out by that
That's
fireball. That's
kind of what we were talking about there.
yeah, unfortunately, a great call out there for UBuffalo. Just found exactly, it's like, okay, yeah, Lucario's just going to be right there. And sends that fireball, but gets that one stock, so Ball State is going to keep their one stock lead advantage, which is especially what they're going to need right now going into this third match of Game 2, because I mean, like, I guess they don't really need it. We saw with Game 1, they didn't even need their 4th member. But just right now, with how closer this Game 2 is, having any little bit of leeway is really going to help.
Yeah, because right now we're only seeing a 1 stock advantage. This time last game, we were seeing, I think, a 6 stock, like a 4 stock advantage for Ball State. You know, they had taken 6 stocks away from the other team. So, yeah, a little bit tighter this time. So, yeah, Ball State going to want to play with a little bit more leeway, you know, be a little bit safer, I would say, you know. Try to just do whatever you can to extend that advantage, you know. Right now, you know, they're about to go into a game where they are up 3-2 in terms of stocks. So, kind of the goal here is just try to get those 2 stocks off, you know. Don't lose a stock. 3 stock where you can, you know. And here's the interesting part of who are they going to send in here? That's kind of the...
That's what I'm thinking about. And so I don't think they're going to be sending in Skittles here. While that Luigi did do really well on against this Hero last time, I do think sending Skittles in now, you run the risk of, one, this Hero and Luigi is kind of this weird matchup. And that runs the risk of, yeah, of course, Skittles can pop off and maybe get these 2 stocks in 2 seconds, but then this Hero could also get these 2 stocks in 2 seconds. You don't know. But also Duck Hunt, I don't think is that best of an option to go against a Hero right now. Hero just has so much utility that can completely overwhelm Duck Hunt. And I think Duck Hunt just doesn't really have really anything that can really challenge Hero too much in that sense. So I think my guess is that we're either going to see Galuna come out on the Yoshi, or we're going to see, I'm forgetting the player's name right now, but the Duck Hunt come out on the Pac-Man.
Yeah. What was the Duck Hunt's name?
I feel so bad.
I feel so bad too.
I had it.
I had it as well. But I've Green Spiral.
Green Spiral.
So might see, Green Spiral come out on his Pac-Man, which he can also play, mix it up a little bit. That's a real way to mix it up, because they weren't even expecting a Pac-Man. So that is a good thing to try and do as well.
And Pac-Man himself also doesn't have like a really great matchup against Hero as well, but as you just said, if you come in with that unexpectedness, that is going to be a huge, it could be a huge advantage for Ball State. It also, just Pac-Man, I think, has a little bit more utility that can deal with Hero a bit. Pac-Man has not a lot of range stuff, but he has a lot of movement stuff, and just has a lot more things he can really do with his items. And so I do think I'm stumbling over all of my words right now. I do think if we see Green Spiral come out, I do think we're going to be seeing that Pac-Man. But honestly, I do think there is a chance we see that Yoshi come out.
Yeah, I do think there is a chance. I'm looking back now, and I believe that is Green Spiral sitting where the players who are playing have been sitting. There.
You are correct.
I think we could be seeing Pac-Man, would be my guess. Because I don't think you sent in Duck Hunt here. Like, I love Duck Hunt, but Duck Hunt, the world does not love Duck Hunt, okay? He's just not that good,
That is a great way to put it. The world just does not love Duck Hunt, man.
Love Duck Hunt.
Man, why doesn't the world love Duck Hunt?
What did Duck Hunt do to you?
Well, you ever play that Hunting Season?
Oh, yeah.
That's Hunting Season, for anyone who doesn't know at home, is a horror VR game based around the world of Duck Hunt, where a kid kind of gets like hunted down by the Duck Hunt dog.
Yeah.
Honestly, I liked it. Check it out if you haven't. But going back to Smash, the actual Duck Hunt dog is not vicious at all.
He just laughs at you when you miss. He just laughs at you when you miss your shots in the Duck Hunt game. But I've never actually played the game Duck Hunt. The only time I've ever even been around Duck Hunt as a game is when I am speedrunning Super Mario Bros. And I select Super Mario Bros. Instead of Duck Hunt in the emulator. So I've never actually played the game Duck Hunt.
That's really funny. Yeah, I also have not played the game Duck Hunt, but the most I think I've come in contact with Duck Hunt is I actually had an NES Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt cartridge.
Oh, yeah, you had like
as a kid.
Yeah.
But I just like had it up in my room because I was like, I don't have an NES. What am I gonna do with this?
It's like arguably the most iconic cartridge of all time.
Oh yeah.
Like, you put it in your NES and then you get. I'm like a huge fan of the NES. Fun fact: you put it in your NES, you get the Duck Hunt selection, or 2 games in one.
2 games in one. Crazy. When did the NES come out?
The 80s, 90s.
If I'm a kid,
my dad had one. So
yeah, if I'm Wyatt's dad, playing, I put this cartridge in, and I go to the store first of all, and I'm looking through the games, and I'm like, whoa, look at all these really cool games. 16 pixels? What?
Dude.
What?
The Atari only had like 4.
What? That's my reaction. That's me being your dad.
That is
in the store.
If he was my dad at the Radio Shack buying Duck Hunt Mario combo.
But yeah, this is. Oh, okay. I wouldn't continue with it, but we're going into game. And it seems like they've been at this game for a while now, actually. And we are going Green Spiral, going that Pac-Man, which I am glad we got to call it out. And it seems like they are doing well. It seems like I already may have gotten a stock and gets hit by that thunder there, but just not killed. And they got the hero to 61%, now 80 with that key. And if they can get him with something else, a grab, gets that bell, does not hit. Goes for a back air and just is gonna miss and get punished with a nice forward smash there.
That is unfortunate to see, but they've already gotten a stock off in this game, you know, and it's here at very high percentage as well. So if I am the Pac-Man here, you know, you really just want to get the seal off this field. Don't lose another stock, you know, play smart, I would say. Gonna go for that fire hydrant there. Nothing really gonna come of it this time. Go for another attack as well. Pac-Man is one of those characters that I feel like they are a little bit of a weird character for me, but
yeah. Pac-Man's a really weird character. Ooh, gonna lose all of that MP, aka magic, to that magic burst, which is just gonna lead to a nice forward smash punish there for Pac-Man. But Pac-Man definitely is a really weird character in Smash, because most of the time when they're like creating these Smash characters, you know, they like to pull a lot of stuff from the games they're from, a lot of stuff from the lore, a lot of times the moves that these characters have in Smash are like an actual move they'll have in their games. But Pac-Man is just a circle that eats dots.
yeah, that's all he does in the game.
How do you make this into a fighting game
Yeah,
character?
like that.
And they were just like, well, let's give him a fire hydrant.
Like that.
Let's give him a fire hydrant,
Yeah,
guys.
like they just were like there's been other Pac-Man games, but in just about every game, all he does is eat dots.
Eat dots, run away from Ghost, which he has the Ghost in it, but like he uses the Ghost. Very interesting. I'm just now thinking about that.
Me too. That he uses the ghost as an attack.
Mm-hmm.
He can't even touch the ghost in the real game.
He
They
dies.
clearly have never played Pac-Man. Okay. Well, we all know about
Miyamoto,
Pac-Man.
please play video games.
Yeah, play Pac-Man.
It's obvious you've never played a video game once in your
I
life.
love Pac-Man. That's another thing. Big Pac-Man fan over here. In terms of the original Pac-Man, I've never played any of the other Pac-Man games.
You know, interesting. I've kind of been getting a little bit into Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, really?
Because my girlfriend really likes Miss Pac-Man, and I was like, we went to an arcade, and so that she really likes to go to, and she's like, oh yeah, it's my Miss Pac-Man machine, and
She really likes this Pac-Man.
yeah, she's like, I really like Miss Pac-Man, and I was like, I remember just asking her, I was like, what is the difference between Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man? And she was like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the only difference is that it's Miss Pac-Man and not Pac-Man.
The only thing
And then I think the fruit is different.
the fruit might be different.
I think it's different fruit. I think that's
do-
the difference.
Yeah. The only things I could think of when like I played Miss Pac-Man that I think were different is I don't think there's like really a story in Pac-Man.
No, not really.
They kind of try and do like a story, like it's supposed to be like the story of I think the meeting in Miss Pac-Man. I don't entirely know. I didn't like beat the game or anything.
Yeah.
But
Well, allegedly only one person's ever beat Pac-Man. That's a story for another time.
That's true.
You may have cheated. We're not going to talk about that story for a different time.
Talk about a different time, but look at the documentary King of Kong's A Fistful of Quarters.
Watch the movie
Great.
Pixels.
Watch the movie Pixels. Great movie. But I think also Miss Pac-Man might be a little faster. Just to finish that point out before we get into this next game here, where UBuffalo sending out their Mewtwo, which did not do so hot in game one, but hopefully they can do something against this Pac-Man, or at least that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, got a pretty great start there. You know, getting a little bit of damage onto Pac-Man here, but you know, it's only 31%. But gets him to 50 there with two really nice hits. Got a bit of momentum going now. But a nice fire hydrant there from Pac-Man, and he's not going to be able to grab the ledge. And that is just never what you want to happen.
Yeah, no, this Mewtwo, unfortunately, Mewtwo does not have a really good recovery. He has that teleport, which is good, especially on the stage and stuff like that, but does not really go too far. And when he gets hit with stuff like that, fire hydrant off stage, really is going to be hard for a Mewtwo to get back. But yeah, this Pac-Man is so far playing a really good game here at a decent amount of percent, so they're just kind of camping out, not going too far in. They're going to fall in so they could try and get that Galaga and get a second hit, but unfortunately just not able to do it. And now, yeah, they're just trading blows for blows on their shield and just throwing those oranges and placing those fire hydrants.
Yeah, just, you know, living the Pac-Man life right now, you know. It's what they're doing. Doing some big damage to this Mewtwo. On high percentage, though. Just received a big hit there. Gets a nice kick, though. Gonna send the cherries down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ooh, gets hit by their own fire hydrant, but still is living despite being at 153%. goes for a punch there on that Mewtwo, but it's gonna miss it. But the Mewtwo misses their punishment, but hits that Nair. Gonna send the Pac-Man off stage.
Pac-Man just got a great recovery though. Just, you know.
Pac-Man does have a great recovery. Not only does he have that little trampoline that he can bounce up on, but he does have that little move. Ooh, a nice little forward tilt there. Gonna secure the first stock against Pac-Man here. But, oh, just going to retaliate right back with that orange. And UBuffalo just not in a good place right now, especially if Ball State is able to get this last stock on this Mewtwo.
Yeah, so they're probably really going to want to try and win. I mean, of course, they're going to want to try and win the 1v1 right now. But, you know, I think I'm struggling to keep track of the stocks right now. I think if they win this, they have equalized the stocks. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But they are doing pretty big damage to this Pac-Man right now.
If they do win it, they would equalize the stocks, because then, yeah, it would be pretty equal going into, or not pretty equal, it would be entirely equal going into the next match, pretty much. But right now, Ball State has a chance to go up 2-stock lead, but it's not going really well. They did get a nice little hit with that fire hydrant there, but at Pac-Man, there's not much you can really do. Ooh, another nice fire hydrant hit there. Gonna go for that bell, but another forwards hit right, tilts right at the edge. Gonna get that kill onto the Pac-Man. And there we go, equalize the stocks for UBuffalo, but they are still a little bit at a deficit, because that's kind of what I was thinking about with it. They are equal in stocks, but they're going to have a 1-stock Mewtwo going against a completely 3-stock Ball State opponent. So the chances of them keeping the stocks equal is going to be lower than normal.
I would agree. I'm trying to think if they are actually equal on stocks. It's
they should be, because Ball State was, I believe, only 1 stock.
Yeah, they should have only had a 1-stock lead. They lost a stock.
Just lost that.
Yeah, because in the game where they were up 3-2, they lost a stock. They still won the game, but they lost a stock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So yeah, they should be equal on stocks, but it is still going to be a little bit of an uphill climb for UBuffalo. I do think now, I'm assuming Ball State's just going to be sending out Skittles. I think,
I believe he's taking a seat right over there. So that is going to be Skittle, and I wonder if we're going to see the Luigi. I believe he had an alternate main, right?
Yes, Luigi and Toon Link were his two mains. Which I would love to see a little bit of Toon Link action. Toon Link was my secondary for a really long time when I was playing Smash.
Who's your main?
But I am a Pyra and Mithra main. I'm not gonna lie, and that gets a lot of slack, because they're like considered one of the best characters. But I have this whole argument that I could talk your ear off about how I do think they're a little overrated in the Smash scene, but I won't get into that. But Toon Link, I would like to see a little bit of Toon Link action tonight if we can. But I do think if Skills are taking the stance, there's a good chance he's just going to go Luigi again and clean house like he did with Game 1.
Yeah, just kind of go for what worked, you know. That kind of would be my assumption of what he's going to do. As much as I would also love to see some alternate characters, just going for what worked, especially when they had so much trouble against that Luigi. And, you know, two of the Luigi's biggest counters are kind of gone right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, where are we going to see? We're probably going to see, we're going to see the 1-stock left of the Mewtwo. Then I think we're going to see a Young Link, probably. And then there's the one other character. Young Link was the last character.
Young Link, okay, Young Link, Mewtwo, Captain Falcon. Why am I forgetting? Hero, right? Is that the way we say that?
So wait, hold up. Does Ball State have a bigger advantage than anything? Because we've seen the Hero is dead, right?
Hero's dead. So is Captain Falcon. Mewtwo's on last stock.
And then they just have the Toon Link. So they only have 4 stocks left. We have 6. Because we have 2 players who haven't even played yet. Okay, wait.
Never mind.
So everything we just said about it being equal, we lied. We're actually at a 2-stock lead, so this is a lot more comfortable than I thought. Oops.
Yeah, I don't know where that happens because
I don't know how we got that mixed
we
up.
won game 1 a stock up, right? And then we carried. I thought game 2 we lost 2 stocks.
Yeah, I thought we did too. I guess it just works out somehow.
Yeah, it just works out.
Maybe we got up 2 from the Mewtwo game.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Kind of jumping in that Pac-Man game midway through really messed me up.
It did also mess me up because I couldn't tell if the Pac-Man had gotten a stock off stream or not.
Yeah, I didn't know if they got a stock or not. I think they might have gotten a stock because I think that they were supposed to have 2 stocks against that hero. That hero had 2 stocks, I think.
Pac-Man had all 2 stocks?
No, I think Pac-Man had all 3.
This is where they gained the second stock. Pac-Man had all 3, and then Mewtwo took 2 of, or Mewtwo took 2 of them, but they got all 3 of the Mewtwo, so they gained another stock there. That's where we're getting it.
Okay, so Ball State actually in a much bigger advantage than we thought now. Skittle, it's going to be Skittle on the Luigi going against the last of this Mewtwo stock here. So Skittle was kind of the MVP of last game, I would say. So see if he can sort of keep that up. Off to a bit of a rough start, taking a lot of damage from this Mewtwo. Kind of struggling to create space right now, but just going to look to sort of fall back. Mewtwo doing some big damage.
Yeah, this Mewtwo seeming like a completely different player than the first game. It seems like they maybe have the download on this Luigi, or they at least think so, because right now, I mean, it's 119, 120 to 0. Ooh, and it looks like that might be the first stock. And wow, a 0-2 death for UBuffalo. And now they do have that 1 stock disadvantage, but I mean, with how this game is going so far, does seem like Ball State has a little bit of something to worry about. But I do think, I mean, with how we saw Skittle play with that game 1, just needs to get those fingers warmed up a little bit. But I mean, 52 to 8. It's gonna have to do something a little bit differently here if he really wants to keep this Ball State lead.
Yeah, because, you know, right now, if he loses to this Mewtwo, that would actually put Ball State at a stock deficit. So if the Mewtwo, you know, gets this 3 stock on the Luigi, it would actually mean Ball State is in a 1 stock deficit now. So if I'm Luigi, you know, really want to try to get that. I don't even know what happened there.
That was crazy. The Luigi, they traded a forward air and a back air there, as you saw, and so Luigi flew backwards, but Mewtwo flew forwards, hit the stage, and bounced off the stage and somehow died before Luigi did. So it should have been an equal footing, or ended there with Ball State and UBuffalo on a little bit more equal footing. But instead, we're keeping kind of that 2 stock lead for Ball State, just because they just did not hit that tech on the stage, which I do think that might have been untechable.
Yeah.
But, so I don't think that's necessarily like a player fault or issue, but wow, that is just insane. I do think, was that a misfire?
I think maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Kind of just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the game was over.
Yeah. And just a moment the game was over when it really did seem like that Mewtwo was really starting to steamroll a bit, and it just unfortunately for UBuffalo, like that had to happen because, man, like I do think there is a chance that Mewtwo could have gotten all 3 of Skittle's stocks, but we're unfortunately, or fortunately for us, that is not what is happening here tonight. And we're going to go into that Young Link versus Skittle, which is a little bit of a tougher matchup for Skittle. But I do think even if he does lose this, we do have that 4th player that we have not seen yet that they can rely on. And the chances of Skittle getting not even 1 stock is, I think, very low. So I do think this is looking very bad for UBuffalo.
There is always that chance of something scary happening. You know, like say for example, you know, the very unlikely thing that could happen is Skittle doesn't get a single stock off on Toon Link. So then all of a sudden we're on equal footing going into the next game, and that is scary because, like, even though you've had to lead the entire time, it could all be undone if the young Link manages to beat what would be Maluna on Yoshi. So it could be a little scary. So yeah, definitely gonna want to try to at least get a stock off here. You know, if you get 2, great.
Yeah, if I'm Skittle, I'm not worrying too much because you do have that 4th Ball State member. But yeah, if you could just get even 1 stock off here, I mean, I'd be happy. Just because then you're keeping that advantage for Ball State going into that 4th member here. And we are getting a Smashville, which is an interesting stage. And I do think this might be a better stage for Young Link here. Now, this stage, I believe, is the one, so there is 2 Animal Crossing stages, and I might be getting them mixed up here. But I believe Smashville is the one with kind of closer side end zones, but a really tall, end zone up at the top. So the characters are going to die sooner when they fly off the sides, but are going to die later if they were to fly upwards.
Yeah, right now Luigi taking a lot of damage here, already at 100%, and you know, only to Toon Link's Young Link's 13, so really struggling against this Young Link here. But you know, it is a bit of a rough matchup. That is going to be the death there.
Yeah, and it is not looking like a really good matchup here for Luigi. Oh, gets the Young Link off the stage. Going to be edge guarding a little bit there, but loses it to a nice little down tilt found by UBuffalo. And there, right now, the situation is just completely flipped. And this is kind of the problem with Smashville, is that middle platform being so big and just covering that entire top area there puts a lot of, or helps out projectiles a lot more. And when you have this Young Link here, who's also doing a great job here at just edge guarding, it's a very nasty combination.
Yeah, I would definitely say that this Young Link is definitely UBuffalo's best player here. I mean, just playing absolutely, you know, pretty well here. So we could be entering sort of the worst case scenario for Ball State here. You know, yet to get a stock off on this Young Link. Gonna get the recovery there, but on very high percentage. You know, Young Link still only on 80. I mean, I think that Luigi could very well kill from here, but he's got to land that move.
Yeah, and it's tough when Young Link is, you know, reading these rolls from him and getting these tilts off, but you know, Luigi just really, if he can get one nice grab or just a nice little combo here, he can really make it into something. But it's just so tough for him to find that, and he's gonna actually get hit by that up smash. And UBuffalo has done it, and they are going to equal out the final remainder of this game too. So we're going to be going into our 4th member of Ball State here. Going to be a classic just 3v3 and see what is gonna happen.
Yeah, so if Ball State loses this one, we're actually gonna have a game 3, and we're gonna get to do all this again, which we're gonna do it again later anyway because we have Akron later. But so hopefully, you know, for my bedtime's sake, you know, Ball State just gets the win here. But you know, they may have to do it again. They may have to play another one because you know, this Young Link player is very good.
Yeah, and if I'm Ball State player, if I'm on the team, I do not want to go into a game 3 here. Not only because for bedtime's sake, but because it seems like UBuffalo is really gaining this momentum against Ball State right now, but it just is hitting super late to the fact that it's hitting late into game 2. So if you have to go to that game 3, who's to say that momentum's not going to keep rolling over in game 3? It's just going to be a win for UBuffalo, which I really hope not.
Yeah, and like this is kind of the benefit we see of leaving your best player last, you know? So like coming back from now a 2-stock deficit, the stocks are on equal footing, you know, he's equalized it for UBuffalo. So this is winnable for them to get to game 3 here. So it's kind of just about waiting and seeing what's going to happen in this final matchup here between what I'm assuming will be Yoshi versus Young Link.
Which, yeah, I'm assuming it is going to be Yoshi versus Young Link, because I am assuming it is going to be Galuna for that 4th member, which is also kind of a tough matchup a little bit. Yoshi only really has one long-range attack, and it's an egg that is up B that he just kind of throws and arcs a little, but doesn't really do much. And he has a lot of nice mobility options, but if you think about Yoshi, I think like the main characteristic you're gonna think about is he's got these like short little stubby legs and arms. He's got that big tail that he does use for attacks, but a lot of his attacks that I'm thinking of are like a kick or a punch. Yeah. He does have a good amount of tail attacks, as we will see, but he just even with the tail range, I mean, it's not enough for an arrow to come flying from across the stage or one of those boomerangs. So it is going to be a little bit tough, but I do think, yep, it is going to be Galuna on that Yoshi. I do think he can make it work, especially we're on Battlefield here, so you have that third platform right there at the top, which is going to be good for, I think, for both Yoshi and Young Link, because you can do a lot of cool things with that top platform as both of them. But right now, just seems to be trading blow for blow. And not much is happening. Oh, Luna gets in with a little bit of combo, but misses that one confirm. Scrambles a little bit at the edge. Is going to take a lot of damage there. But yeah, it's just going to have to hold on and regroup. But with that arrow and just onslaught of bombs and boomerangs, it's going to be really tough for Luna to do that.
Yeah, it's rough to play against just a Link in general. You know, all these projectiles. And it's really tough for a character who needs to get up close and physical. You know, at the start of the game, he's doing a great job of sort of, you know, keeping his space, but eventually he's got to get in there. And, you know, when Young Link just has all these things to punish you for, it makes it tough. Mm-hmm.
And Luna's doing a pretty good job at getting in there, except he's just not able to really continue these combos. Ooh, and that egg does not hit Young Link there, so he is going to lose the first stock in this match. And Ball State are down for the deficit for the first time in this game. But Young Link is at 98% right now, so he is close to kill percent. So Galuna really just needs to keep his cool and just try his best to avoid these bombs, arrows, and boomerangs, which he seems to have a really hard time doing right now. At 65%, it does not seem like this game is going to be going in his favor.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a struggle, just because, you know, you have things like this happening. You're going through a pretty tough matchup right now, and it's hard to do in this type of situation. And now, even if he does get this stock off, he's already going to be at such a high percent going into the next battle, the next fight, and that is just the worst situation to be in. And right now he's struggling to even get the kill on here. Looks like he might fall to the Young Link right now.
Yeah, no, that's very possible to happen, especially if he gets hit with like pretty much any of Young Link's smash attacks. And Yoshi, unfortunately, just has to do a lot of work to get in these kills. Unfortunately, if he gets that egg push there that doesn't do any knockback, that only does damage. And so he's getting these eggs things right here, but it's only doing damage, which damage doesn't really matter if you can't get the kill, which he finally is able to get that back air in, securing his first kill. But at 142%, he's going to have to do some kind of miracle to get this second kill before too soon.
Yeah, 142 already, you know, just like, not only can he really not take much damage, you know, gonna fall there. So now at a stock deficit, only one stock left here. Game 3 kind of looking a little bit more likely. You know, that is not exactly what you want to see, but, you know, this Young Link's just a very good player and a very hard matchup clearly for, you know, Ball State. They don't really have someone who seems to really work well against this Young Link, you know, and that's kind of unfortunate for them. This is like the benefit of saving your best player last. You know, Ball State didn't get as good of a deficit this time, and now they're, you know, sort of paying for it here, doing some good damage right now, but, you know, already at 76%, and that one's going to end it.
Yeah, it goes for a nice little cheeky kill off stage there, but ends up just completely turning the entire thing around with Young Link's up B, and he gets that stage spike. So we are going to be going into a game 3 against UBuffalo, which is not what we want to be seeing right now as Ball State.
No, you know, UBuffalo just has so much momentum, and now the kind of we're thinking is what can Ball State do to sort of work around this Young Link? You know, like this is clearly a struggle for them because I'm struggling to even remember how we got around it last time. We were just kind of lucky enough that we were able to get a stock off, I think.
I'm trying to think. Young Link last time was taken. First, it was in game 3 for them.
It was their final player.
He was their final player last time?
I think it was their final player last time.
No, you're right. Yeah, because it went Mewtwo. Yeah, it went Mewtwo, Captain Falcon, Hero, and then Young Link game 1.
It's just we had such a stock deficit that we didn't really have to. We had such a stock deficit that we didn't really have to worry about what sort of happened there with Young Link. You know, we had a whole extra player waiting in the back who could have played him. You know, this time we didn't really have that. We kind of had, you know, our Luigi unable to get a stock off on the Young Link. That was kind of unfortunate there.
Yeah, I think that's really in game 2, like what really harmed Ball State is, you know, Skittle was so dominant in game 1, getting, you know, a 3 stock against that Mewtwo, and getting a whole other 3 stocks, only losing, I think, 2 in that second game, which was our second match in game 1, which is just great. But not being able to get any stocks in game 2 just really like hurt Ball State, and it showed with the fact that they ended up losing it. Although they went into the last match equal on equal footing with equal stocks, they still lost pretty badly there. And so they're going to have to definitely switch up something against this Young Link. I think they know UBuffalo definitely isn't going to be sending this Young Link out. I don't think there's a chance we see Young Link start for UBuffalo in this game 3. With him being their best player and with it being 1-1 right now, I think there's no way they risk a chance of something happening to him straight early on into this game. So I think we're going to see him saved for last again, and I think what we're going to have to do is either save that Pac-Man for him, or we just maybe send in Skittle again to just try and get a nice good lead like we did with game 1.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you have to do. I think the strategy now is to build up. You've got to try to build that deficit because that's what helped us so much last time. You know, yeah, we had a stock lead the whole time, but when it's only 1 or 2, that's very easily, you know, UBuffalo had so much work to do in game 1 that now in game 2 they had so much less to do, and they managed to, you know, crawl back and sort of get that win there. So yeah, I completely agree. And despite being down this little deficit there in game 2, they really were able to crawl their way back. And so Ball State really needs to find a way they can get not only like a big deficit, but able to keep it. And so I do think we're going to see a little bit of an order change come out from them. I honestly wouldn't be too surprised to see the Captain Falcon start again for UBuffalo. Oh, we're seeing the Toon Link come out. Now I do actually really like this play from Skittle. Knowing that Captain Falcon is going to come out, doesn't go Luigi, but goes Toon Link, who does kind of have that matchup that Young Link has against like Luigi and a couple of the other characters, where he has these long-range tools. Now, Toon Link does have a bomb, a boomerang, and an arrow like Young Link does, but they do work a tiny bit differently. As you can notice, like his arrow isn't on fire, and his bomb is just like, you can still throw it, but it works a little bit differently. But right now, it is not working out for him right now. Just a tiny bit of a % lead for UBuffalo, but with this matchup,
he's going to be wanting to go for a bigger percent lead. Especially, yeah, this UBuffalo is just able to get in against this Toon Link, which is especially what you not want to happen. You just really want to be keeping this distance as Toon Link, but you have to get in to get your kills, and that's kind of where his problems come up as a character.
Yeah, he's kind of struggling a little bit right now. You know, a little bit of he's managed to sort of bring it back, but yeah, you like you said, you're hoping for a little bit more of a percentage lead, and taking a big hit right there from the Captain Falcon. And you know, the Captain Falcon is absolutely great on his punishes, and you see it right there, getting the stock off.
Yeah, it does get that first stock and almost gets a nice little combo there for UBuffalo, but I think that would have probably been the stock if Toon Link was facing the other way. Gonna get hit by the bomb, gonna get punished for missing that up B again with a lot of percent right there. And a nice trip off stage, which hit by that forward air, gonna lose another stock. And wow, yeah, now this Toon Link pick is looking a little bit worse now for Ball State, because I think maybe it's just not warmed up or something's not happening, but he's just not able to really work around this Captain Falcon at all. It's got him up to 167%, but is just unable to get that kill, while Captain Falcon's up here again. Combos taking Toon Link from 30% to dead.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, we're kind of seeing sort of the, like, while, you know, Toon Link is trying to sort of, he can't really keep the Captain Falcon away. I mean, he's just constantly getting in his face and just doing so much damage to him. Still alive on 190% right now, so Ball State at a pretty big stock deficit already here, unless they can somehow manage to win this, but it's just looking improbable. The fact that this Captain Falcon is still in the game.
There we go. A nice little back throw from Toon Link. His one like actual throw kill, and just got that way too late. He definitely could have gotten that sooner into the game. Probably could have gotten that stock, but just, yeah. Unfortunately, now I think if you are Skittle, you just have to play super campy. Just try your hardest not to get hit with anything. Because if you do, you're already at 60%. You're at your Toon Link, who is light as a feather, and Captain Falcon, who literally can make a bird out of fire with his hands.
One thing I will say about this type of matchup, you know, when you're down like this, maybe you're not playing your best, is you don't want to play angry, you don't want to play upset, because that just leads to losing games. You know, you keep your composure. I would say, compared to other games, I think Smash is a pretty easy game to get mad at. It can be pretty infuriating. So, you know, you can't play like that. You know, you got to keep your calm. Right now, you know, sort of doing well. Takes a really big hit there. Unfortunately, gets a nice hit with the arrow, though. Going to take a really big dash once again. Really struggling to just sort of stay away from this Captain Falcon.
Yeah, was doing a pretty good job for a second, but I mean, this Captain Falcon, the moment he gets in for 1 second, he is tearing it up. But right now, Toon Link able to got that Captain Falcon to a high percent, gets that up B, but it's not going to be able to secure the kill. Ooh, nice little read from that Captain Falcon. That Toon Link was doing that grab to ledge a lot, and just was able to hit him with that forward air. And unfortunately, this is going a really bad way for Ball State right now. We were hoping to get a nice little lead for us, but UBuffalo has a nice 2-stock lead for them, which really is not what we want to see. Yeah,
UBuffalo just with all the momentum right now. I mean, they've just sort of found it, you know. Maybe they weren't warmed up. Maybe, you know, things weren't working out for them, but right now it is just going entirely in their favor. And yeah, their players are just really going like right now. And, you know, they're in a matchup that should have arguably been good for Ball State. It didn't go their way, and that is really unfortunate to see.
It really is unfortunate to see, because especially now Ball State is in a position where I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, I think now, like, out of the 3 characters, they got Yoshi, Duck Hunt, maybe Pac-Man, and
Lucario.
Lucario.
Which is, I think,
that's what I'm forgetting.
Who we're gonna see, because I see Soup Can Sam.
Unless Sukan Sam wants to go with that Shulk. But right now,
I forgot he had another main.
Yeah, but right now, I think especially with seeing Skittle try out that Toon Link, I think now is the time you got to stick with what you've been doing so far, what you know best, and assuming if that is going to be Green Spiral, then I'm assuming that's his Lucario. And I do think that would be a good pick. He did win against that Captain Falcon in Game 2, so we do know he does have the ability to close it out. I do think what we got to worry about is I think he's at least going to have to lose a stock here. I think the chances of him coming out unscathed without losing any life the chances of that are very low. But I think the chances of him coming out with only like one stock are too high here. And yeah, it just sucks because I do think though that Lucario probably is the best option out of the other characters to pick going into this right now.
Yeah, he is the best option. It's just the struggle with Lucario. The fact that his whole sort of thing is he does more damage, the higher percentage you get, it makes it, you kind of have to get to that high percentage. But then once you get to that high percentage, you're playing risky and you're probably going to lose a stock. And you're in a situation now where every stock is like precious because you're down 2. So like while Lucario out of your mains is probably the best pick, maybe it's time to look at something else. But you know, if you're not warmed up on another character, what are you going to do? And I think we're actually going to see Shulk. I'm looking at their screen. I'm cheating. I'm looking at their screen.
I did get a nice little peek there too. It is going to be that Shulk, which is a kind of a good pick against Captain Falcon, as mentioned earlier, where you are going to see that big sword of his. Just look at it thrown out right there. And another thing with Shulk's character is he has what are called the Mondo arts. That is that speed and buster. He can, they're kind of like little spells he can put on himself that, depending on what they are, kind of enhance a little bit of ability about him. So Smash, that's going to increase his Smash attacks, which, as you saw, almost killed at like 70% from the other side of the stage. But yeah, the trick is with Shulk, you kind of always want to be using those Mondo arts because they do really enhance your gameplay, but they do run out after you use them. You got to wait for them to recharge. So that's just what you got to worry about.
Yeah, had a great start to the game, taking a little bit of damage now, though. Gonna really, like, it would have been really nice if he was able to finish off that Captain Falcon there. Still doing some pretty good damage, still has the percentage advantage as well. Gonna go into that speed, try to get some more speed here, get some nice hit onto the Captain Falcon, sending him off the map, manages to recover it, running low on that speed spell. Now tries to get a nice hit, but it is countered, gonna take some big damage there. Gonna switch to the jump to try to get that recovery. Gonna look for a big hit with the smash attack and gets it, and that's gonna get the stock.
Gets it. I do think he got that stock a little bit later than he wanted to. Goes into the, I do like, or the kind of the Mondo arts he is choosing, because although Mondo arts do enhance Shulk's capabilities, they also do have a little bit of a weakness to them. So when he's on speed, he is actually going to be doing a little bit less damage than he normally would. So while it is nice to be having like this speed art on when going really fast, you're going to be doing less damage and have less of a chance to kill. And Captain Falcon able to get that stock confirm from a little up B there. So now I think if you're Ball State, you just cannot lose a single other stock right now. You're going to have to try and close it out right now. And when you're falling for up smashes like that, it is going to be tough.
Yeah, you don't want to lose any stocks when you're in a deficit. And right now, losing that stock really, really sucks for Ball State, so they're going to want to try to not lose any more. They are currently at a percentage disadvantage, but with a big hit there, puts them into a slight lead, but immediately losing it once again, switching to that speed, trying to get some big damage here, manages to equalize the percentage, sends them off the map, went for a little bit of a down spike there, but didn't really get it. Gets a nice hit onto the Captain Falcon, goes to switch to that smash, goes for maybe a kill here, but unable to get it, is going to go for the down spike, can't get a kill.
There we go, yeah. Does hit, I believe that was a forward air right there to end it out. And yeah, it does seem like that Shulk is a lot better of an option than we were anticipating. And I do think that Shulk is going to be a lot better of an option just from looking at it as that one game for like the Young Link, is especially if UBuffalo maybe thinking about going it right now. I do think we're most likely going to be seeing probably the hero next. Maybe the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo definitely seems, I think, like the weakest link out of UBuffalo's team.
I would agree, yeah.
And so it's kind of you might want to send Mewtwo out right now just to because while they do play really well, I do think that having them go against maybe Galuna later on might not be the best option. But also now Mewtwo versus Shulk is a very interesting matchup because he's got that big sword and Mewtwo's got that big tail with a nice big hitbox on it.
Yeah, it is an interesting matchup for sure. Now, I do think that what is Ball State at? A 1 stock deficit now?
I believe so, yeah, because we only lost 1 stock there. And yeah, because there'll be a 3 stocks, their second player versus our second player at 2 stocks. So yeah.
Okay, so kind of, it would be really huge if we could, I mean, of course, I say this, it's like no duh. It would be really huge if we could win this here. That would put us in a stock advantage. And it is possible, of course. I mean, anything is pretty much possible in Smash Bros. I mean, like it's always winnable. It's always winnable.
That is true. And Smash Bros. Truly, you never give up because, like, I have seen games where people are on 1 stock versus 3 and they're at like 100% and they still somehow can bring it back. Truly, anything can happen in Smash Bros, which is one of the reasons why I love it as a game and why I love watching it and seeing these players do what they do. But right now, gonna see that Shulk, which UBuffalo has only had this 1 game to go up against so far. So what do you think they're going to be thinking and talking about right now?
I think their big thing here is...
Oh, well, we don't even have to...
We don't even have to talk about it. They are going to send in the hero. I think they're going to want to just get this Shulk away because it might be a pretty good matchup for the young Link, maybe. So I just want to try to get it out of the way. So maybe they're sending in hero here just to try and out-duel it.
Yeah, I do think Shulk probably would be a really or a better pick against that young Link there because he has that, although he is a sword character and wants to get up close, he has a lot bigger of a sword, and as you can see with those Mondo arts, has a lot of mobility he can use to get close to young Link. As you are seeing him get close to this hero here, getting him up to 70% already, but a nice kaboom is going to get Shulk to 50% pretty much. But yeah, I think if they can just try and get this Shulk out now, just before he can cause more damage, is what UBuffalo really wants to do. But Ball State is really counteracting with this Shulk. And if they can get, a charged up down smash on ledge for the kill. And, immediately responded with the freeze, so we are not going to be able to actually enjoy the nice little stock equalizer that that Shulk has given us, but maybe he can give us another one. We'll see.
But maybe we have no idea here. Going to try and go for some big damage here. And a little bit of a percentage disadvantage. Of course, only 1 stock left. Getting some nice hits on that hero now. Really just going to try and get another stock off here, but just take a lot of damage there.
Gonna get punished for that missed forward smash, and unfortunately it's gonna mean he's at a lot higher percentage. Ooh, just misses that thunder. And now they're just kind of playing, nice counter on the kaboom there. And going for smash, going with those forward arrows, going for the kill, gets a kill. And although they are at 82%, there is a chance for Ball State to tie this up.
That would be absolutely huge for Ball State right now if they're able to tie this up. Getting 2 stocks off, it's pretty huge, honestly, in the scope of the game. But, you know, trying to tie up the game would be absolutely huge for them. Doing a lot of damage here to this hero. But, you know, at such a big percentage deficit. But right now, honestly, doing a pretty good job at avoiding damage and doing some in return. And right now, it's looking pretty good for Ball State if they can keep this up right now. This hero's really struggling to get a hit on.
Yeah, they have a nice little combo going here. They're just able to get these attacks in right when Hero is going for his menu, and he gets the kill with a nice forward air, getting Ball State the lead for the first time in Game 3.
That is absolutely huge for Ball State's momentum right there. That is exactly what they needed to do. They have the momentum in their favor. The Shulk pick clearly working out, but it makes you kind of wonder, should they have saved the Shulk pick for later? It's clearly working out well for them.
It is clearly working out for them, and they have gotten the lead back. But yeah, I'm wondering the same thing now. And honestly, I think, you know, if they're Ball State, they just can't even like focus on that right now. They just need to focus on what's ahead and what they can do. But yeah, I am thinking about that, because I do think they're going to go for this Mewtwo here, and the chances of this Mewtwo getting this one stock on the Shulk are probably going to happen. But if they do go Mewtwo here, I think the chances of Ball State extending their lead at least a little bit is also possible. So I do think Ball State, it might have been a little bit smarter if they did keep that Shulk for that young Link. But, you know, obviously now there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you don't really want to think about what you could have done, you know, just kind of work with what you've got right now. And I think that if you are UBuffalo, you send in the Mewtwo here. I don't think you send in young Link right now, because I think young Link is your best player, and I think that Mewtwo is arguably their worst player. So you send in the Mewtwo, and I feel like if you send in the young Link, you're just wasting it. Like if the Shulk even gets a stock off, you've wasted the young Link. You've wasted it. So I think you send in the Mewtwo. Yeah,
I completely agree. If you send in the young Link and Shulk even gets a stock, I like how you put that. You've just wasted the young Link there, because then he just has not accomplished his job at all. But at least if Mewtwo loses a stock, then at least then you still have that young Link that can maybe clean up a little bit later. And the chances of the Mewtwo getting this one stock from Shulk before he loses anything is incredibly high. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's gonna have to be the Mewtwo, especially just because if they can get that one stock from Shulk, then okay, they've at least tied the game back up, which is good for them. And even if they do, like, say, lose a stock, then again, they're just down to one more stock again, which we saw them just come back from a one stock deficit in Game 2. So, we're going into this 3. They are sending the Mewtwo. And on us, this is the other Animal Crossing stage, Town and City. I think I did get them mixed up. I believe this is the one with the close side blast zones in the really tall ceiling blast zone. So I honestly I'm a little interested in the stage pick, because I don't think it is the best for Mewtwo right now. Because if it is the one with the close side blast zones, we've seen Shulk get so many kills with that forward air. Which, of course, Mewtwo with their recovery does have a teleport, so there's a chance that might not even happen against him. But, I mean, it is something to worry about.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Now, one thing that the Shulk really just needs to do is needs to focus on extending the lead, but ooh, he's going to get punished for that one.
Yeah, it goes for a very risky up B there that just, does not work out, and he's going to take a lot more percentage. Does get Mewtwo off the stage, gets a forward air, does not kill, but he does have Smash Mode on, and so he gets a little bit more damage there.
Yeah, really wants to just try and get a stock off here. Don't focus on winning overall. You know, you're already down 2 stocks just to begin with. You really just want to try to get a stock off here. Increase your team's advantage. Think of it as a team game here. You know, you do not want to just try and focus so hard on absolutely destroying her. But ooh, that's going to be unfortunate, and they don't get the stock off. And Ball State's stock advantage is gone.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Ball State, because that Shulk was playing incredibly well there despite being down 2 stocks. But yeah, just was unable to get that kill in. but was doing a lot of good stuff there. I think it ultimately kind of came down just as, when you're down in the situation, as you said, you're not playing to win, you're just playing to do damage, which leads to, trying out some risky moves that I think just ultimately did not work out for them. But I do think that although we have lost the 1 stock deficit, at least, we know it's Mewtwo coming up and then Young Link. Yeah. So that it makes it a little bit easier for Ball State to plan around, because especially they can still switch up their characters if they want to. I guess Young Link could still switch up his character. We don't know. So the chances of us even fighting a Young Link in the 3rd or 4th round might not even happen. But I do think, assuming that they're going to pick their same characters, we got, okay, let's see. We have
a Duck Hunt / Pac-Man, and we have a Yoshi, I think. That's all we have left.
Honestly, I think we would, that's tough. Honestly, I think we might go Yoshi here.
I feel like you send out the Pac-Man for the Young Link. I feel like you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing.
And
no spoilers, but.
Yeah, and I think you send out Yoshi here because, as we've kind of been talking about, it seems like Mewtwo seems to be the weakest link for UBuffalo here. So they don't really necessarily have to worry about, Galuna being the team captain and the strongest member of Ball State. They don't really have to worry about keeping, him for Young Link, especially as we saw, Yoshi has a pretty big disadvantage against Young Link. So I think sending him out now is the smart play, because then we have a good chance that Ball State can get a pretty big lead here if they're able to get a nice clean win on this Mewtwo.
Yeah, get something like a 3-stock, win with more than 1 stock remaining, and then use that stock to just try and get something off the Young Link, which we have seen Galuna do. So now we do have Galuna in here on the Yoshi. Just trying to do damage to this Mewtwo. Try to get it, like you said, a clean win. That is the best. That is the goal here. Get a clean win. Get a stock advantage. Right now, taking a little bit more damage than he'd like, but responds with a nice egg there. Gets him at a little bit of an advantage.
Now, Galuna doing a really nice job just comboing this Mewtwo here with a couple of little tilts and just a little bit of up airs. For a second, I thought he SD'd, but gets that forward tilt, or not forward tilt, forward air onto the Mewtwo. Gonna get that first stock there. Now, he is at pretty high a percentage, which is not what you want to be seeing, especially only on your first stock of this game. But a couple of nice up airs there, gonna stack up the damage on that Mewtwo, and maybe that 90% won't matter so much.
Yeah, I think you are right. If he can just kind of keep up what he's been doing, 90%, you can work with that. It's possible. And I think it's fine. I think if he loses a stock here, I think it's fine. Obviously, you don't want to. If you can 3-stock, you should. But I think if he gets a stock, nice kill there. Wow, didn't even see that one coming.
Yeah, a nice little spike there, sending him straight into the blast zone down below. And it gets him off stage again with a nice little combo. Goes for another forward air, but it's going to be caught out by Mewtwo's Nair there. And now, yeah, just edge guarding the Yoshi a little bit. But yeah, this Mewtwo is definitely having a really hard time fighting against Galuna right now.
Now, this is really sort of the perfect situation for Ball State here. Galuna's doing a really good job keeping space, attacking when he needs to. And it's really paying off. We got this Mewtwo at 84%. Yes, he is at 114, but look at the stocks, look at the lives. Absolutely great right now. He's doing some big damage.
Great back air.
Gets a nice egg.
Yeah, good egg. Oh, just misses that forward tilt. But he now has to be careful. The Mewtwo has recovered and is on middle stage. Gets hit by the Shadow Ball, but the Mewtwo gets hit with an egg. Goes for a little bit of a down air there. Just going for back airs. Gets a nice clean one, but again, does not kill. Because there's a couple more eggs, but they're not going to connect.
It's moments like this that are just so frustrating. You want the kill. You want the 3-stock, and he immediately gets the kill the next time. Yes, he won, but you feel the 3-stock was possible, and the advantage Ball State would have been at if they got that 3-stock. But still, good to win this one with 2 stocks remaining.
Yeah, just a nice kind of caught out Shadow Ball moment there for UBuffalo. You know, Shadow Ball, you with this big ball of energy you assume is going to be this ranged attack, but you know, just letting it loose right in front of him just was a nice little play there, gets the stock. And it is such a shame to just see like Ball State fall, and then literally before his invincibility even runs out for his next life, he gets the back air.
It's like, you know, it was
secures
possible.
the kill.
You know it was possible.
Yeah,
he just needed one more hit.
Yeah, it's just a shame because you saw Galuna hit like multiple back airs that you thought were going to be the kill and then just weren't. So it's a shame to see that, but we are going to gain at least a 2-stock lead going into UBuffalo's last member here, the Young Link, which definitely is a good thing you want to see because, I mean, if Galuna can get at least another stock off here too, that's great for the Pac-Man or the Duck Hunt, whoever they decide to play next. Like, it's going to be great for them either way. And it definitely is looking up for Ball State.
I do think it is crucial. It is crucial to get at least a stock off this Young Link here. That has kind of been we saw this happen last game where they went into the last game, last player of UBuffalo with a 2-stock lead against that Toon Link, and they still lost. They lost game 2. So it is absolutely crucial here to try and get at least a stock off on this Toon Link. So Pac-Man just has, or Duck Hunt has just less work to do because this Toon Link is clearly a very good player. And I think what Ball State has done here strategically is the right call.
Yeah,
is to put that Yoshi in. And now we've seen Galuna get a stock off on this Toon Link. He just has to try to get at least 1 here.
Yeah,
2, amazing. 1,
2, 3, even better.
3, if you just win, go ahead.
If you can just win, you know, actually, Galuna, can you just win for us, please?
Hey, just win. Just win. Okay, he's going to win.
Okay, yeah, they're telling us right now they're just going to win this.
Yeah, they're just going to win.
But, yeah, no, I completely agree. If Galuna can just get in there and even take this 1 stock, I think it's going to do great. And I do think he can take 2. He did only take 1 versus this Young Link in game 2. And we're going into it. Germ going that Young Link.
Taking long enough to lose the life there. But does do it. Now both players going to emote, signifying that they're ready. And here we go. Crucial game for Ball State here, I'd say.
I would agree, and so far not going off to a very good start. Again, this is, although they're not on Smashville this time, I do think having a big battlefield here is kind of a bad choice for Yoshi. Of course, I don't think he has a stage. Again, just those platforms are really good when you have projectiles, especially 2 projectiles like Young Links that really only travel to the sides. And that forward air just barely does not secure the kill for UBuffalo. Gonna get a nice little grab there. Ooh, a nice forward air, but does not spike.
Yeah, this is definitely just such a tough matchup for the Yoshi here. And this Toon Link, you know, very good with the projectiles, doing exactly what he really needs to do to sort of keep, keep his team in contention for the win. He knows he's the last standing player. He knows if he loses a stock, you know, that's very damaging for their team's chance to win.
Yeah, I'm expecting this Young Link to be just throwing projectiles left and right, not really engaging too much because, I mean, the more percent he gains, the closer his team is to losing. And at 61% right now, although it isn't too, that isn't too big of a percent, it definitely is a lot when no stocks have really been traded yet.
Yeah, definitely a lot of no stocks have been traded. So now 68%, and the stock is going to fall eventually. But, you know, that's fine here. Of course, we were joking around earlier, but I wouldn't say that Galuna's goal here is to actually win. But it would be nice if he can get a stock off. But right now, looking like he might be struggling to do so. Manages to get him up to 74, but man, these projectiles are just so tough.
Yeah, just when Young Link sits there and spams them and all you can do is really sit there and shield them or take them, it is really tough when you're Yoshi. And he is going to miss that recovery, ending it with no stocks gained, equaling out the stocks between UBuffalo and Ball State, which is definitely the worst case scenario for Ball State right now.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. So now, once again, going into the last game on equal footing. And yeah, this young Link has just really been the kryptonite for Ball State right now. They're just really struggling to work around him. And even though they've gone into the last game with a 2-stock lead, this young Link he knows that he is their team. Then this is, like we said, the benefit of having, like, this young Link is clearly their best player. Like, this young Link is very clearly their best player. And that is the benefit of saving him till last, because he is clearly comfortable in these clutch situations, and he's proven it. You know, he's doing big damage right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be tough for, I'm assuming it's probably going to be Pac-Man coming in here right now.
Yeah, I feel like going with Duck Hunt here is not the move.
It might, Duck Hunt.
I mean, it could.
Interesting. I'm assuming that they're probably more of a Duck Hunt player than a Pac-Man player. So
I guess it's like, do you go with the on-paper counter, or do you go with your best player? It's kind of like, it is something like that. Like, do you go with your best character, or do you go with, on paper, who's the better character to play? It's hard to sometimes choose, I'd say.
It can be a really tough choice, especially in moments like these where the character you choose could be the decider if Ball State wins this game or not, and which would mean if they win or lose, it's if they win the entire thing. So it all comes down to this. And I do think if he is more of a Duck Hunt player, I wouldn't be too surprised if he does want to kind of play a character, he's more familiar with.
Yeah. You're in this high tense moment. Maybe you go for the character that you are just more comfortable playing. I think they are. I think they're kind of doing the same consideration that we're doing. Really haven't selected the character yet, taking some time into considering it here.
They are really thinking about it. Currently, right now, they are just looking at the character select screen.
Do they go Steve? Oh, they're going Pac-Man. Okay.
Yeah, it does look right now like they are thinking about Pac-Man, which I do think is probably the better choice, unless, as we said, if they're choosing it, I think it's a better choice. Especially,
I think that's a sign that they're more comfortable. They are comfortable on Pac-Man,
Yeah, especially in this scenario where Duck Hunt while Duck Hunt does have these projectiles that are really good, they just are so slow compared to young Links.
And this young Link clearly is going to know how to play around these projectiles. So it's kind of like, I think it is the smarter choice to go for the Pac-Man, who is the on-paper counter. I guess he's not a direct counter to Young Link, but he is a better character against Young Link on paper.
And I think it's going to be tough going into just this one game, 3 stocks versus 3 stocks here. You're going in as Pac-Man against, it's this Young Link who is just going to be spamming. And so I wonder how that is going to impact his game plan at all, because, Pac-Man, as you saw, and which is what he likes to do, is just kind of, throw his fruits and, if he can, just throw his fire hydrant. But again, it's kind of like what we're talking about with the whole Duck Hunt thing, is that's going to be so much slower and more predictable than these arrows and boomerangs and bombs that Young Link has. But they also especially can be a lot less predictable, because just Pac-Man is a wacky guy.
Yeah, and he is a wacky guy indeed. So
but definitely I think this can be anyone's game right now. I think it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for Ball State, though, just because, if they're not as comfortable with that Pac-Man, or, as we're talking about, this Young Link is definitely a really good player, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a tough one, because, this Young Link is just clearly kind of Ball State's kryptonite right now, and they've done what we thought they should do, which was save the Pac-Man till last, save the Pac-Man for the Young Link. It is unfortunate that they weren't able to get any stocks off the Young Link at all. That is just
Yeah.
this young Link is just, it's such a struggle against Yoshi, and yeah, not even being able to get a stock off really does suck. But they just kind of got to forget that, and they just got to kind of think that this is just another game of Smash Bros.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Is at this point, you can't think about what's in the past. You just got to think about what you can do and what's in the future. And you got to think about, how am I going to beat this young Link as Pac-Man? That's all that's you got to be thinking right now, not only as a player, but as a team, you know? And I think right now they are going to be getting into game. So we are going to see immediate boomerang and arrow coming out from that young Link. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of those. But so far, just a 20% lead and a nice little grab for Pac-Man there. And it's just going off to a good start.
Yeah, fairly equal footing. Young Link getting a nice combo there, but a nice fire hydrant there, doing some big damage. But, you know, this young Link just doing so much damage, so much work with these projectiles. Nice grab again there from the Pac-Man. Going to throw the fire hydrant down, gets a nice hit with the fruit there. Going to send him off the map a little bit. And yeah, fairly equal on percentage right now, but a young Link just does so much damage for his size, doing big stuff to this Pac-Man right now. Already got him at 100.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough, especially now, as I just saw, it's going to be tough for Pac-Man to recover in certain situations, because as we saw, ooh, a nice little spot dodge there to block, or to dodge Pac-Man's slow grab there, and it's going to be the first stock taken by UBuffalo. Not what we want to see. Yeah, Pac-Man, it's just definitely, you got to lock in right now. He's doing these kind of situations where I think he's thinking and kind of taking a little bit longer to go out and do certain moves and combinations. And I think right now, as Pac-Man, although, you know, it's a stressful situation, you just got to kind of move and get in there and do what you need to do.
Yeah, you just kind of got to get into that flow state. You know, I don't think you should be really thinking too much about what you're doing right now. I think you should just be kind of playing that Pac-Man, and right now just taking so much damage from this young Link. Just does so much damage. He's got him at a high percent, but ooh.
And then another forward smash there, and yeah, not looking good for Pac-Man right now. Oh, that was crazy. A nice little dash dodge there from the young Link. Gonna skip the grab. Almost gets that up smash from that boomerang, but just barely is unable to get it. And yeah, Pac-Man unable to get this kill at 160% is crazy. And young Link gets a nice down air, getting a second stock for him. And now Ball State, you know, they need something right now. It's already insane to get a young Link to 170%, but yeah, to be down now a whole 2 stocks is not where you want to be, and especially because now he's going to have to pull out something if he wants to win this.
Yeah, he's going to have to take minimal damage. As you can see against young Link, that's just not easy. You know, you're going to take damage, and it's just not an easy character to try to do a comeback against here, because he just has such high damage output. You know, not only does he do a lot of damage, but these projectiles, you just don't really get a moment to breathe, and it's clearly a stressful character to play against. And he's already at pretty high percentage to the point where even if he does get this young Link down to 1 stock. Ooh!
There we go, which he does, and he is only at 68%, now 73. But so there's a chance that he can live this. He's at 100 now. And as we were saying earlier, anything can happen in Smash. Pac-Man just needs a few nice little things, or a nice little edge guard or something like that to win this out. But ooh, gets a nice little push from the fire hydrant there, goes to the fruit, misses, the young Link misses that forward smash. Trade a few blows there, gets the down air, and that is going to close it out for UBuffalo, unfortunately securing them the win with 2-1.
You know, you gotta say, it's a pretty heartbreaking defeat right there. Pretty dominant in game 1 and a close loss. I mean, I would say then UBuffalo pretty much, I wouldn't say dominated, but they pretty much had the upper hand, but a very close end to game 3 there, and that's going to give UBuffalo the win, unfortunately. And now I believe we should eventually, I don't know if we're going to a break or something, but there is Akron next, which I will say, honestly, that one is going to be a pretty tough game. Okay, Akron is the number 1 seed. I'm just being honest.
Akron is the number 1 seed right now, and I don't know where UBuffalo is, but I mean, we're struggling with with certain things with UBuffalo, I'm assuming Akron is going to have kind of all of those problems, or going to bring all those problems to Ball State. And so we've had a little bit of time to, we just lost that game against UBuffalo, but again, not only with games or the individual games, but with these full games, you need to think like you just need to move on. Sure, you lost that game, but you have this whole other game against Akron coming up. You cannot be thinking about this loss against UBuffalo. You just need to be thinking about, okay, how can we face Akron now and not do the same mistakes that we did against UBuffalo that ended with that loss?
Yeah, you can always pull off an upset there, and that is definitely a heartbreaking loss against UBuffalo, you know. And it does, you know, it's unfortunate to see that. I think Ball State did play well. I think they played well. It's just that Young Link was clearly a counter for Ball State, and they didn't really have a player in their arsenal to work against it. It
really did come down to Galuna not able to get a stock against Young Link during that game 3 there. I think, yeah, if that was able to happen, Ball State would have secured that. But they've learned from their mistakes, hopefully, and going into this game with Akron, hopefully they'll have a whole different mentality. And, yeah, maybe we'll get the biggest upset in Smash history right now, which I believe in my Birds.
I always do.
I'll never root against them. They could be going against Godzilla, and I would be like, Birds on top.
Birds on top against the greatest Smash player of all time. Okay, I don't even care. I don't know who that is, but Birds be on top.
Oh, I'm so out of the Smash loop right now.
Yeah,
I want to say it's Akala, because that was the #1 Smash player when I was still checking out stuff and was really into the Smash scene. Yeah. A nice Steve player from Japan who also is like super young. Like he's like, I think younger than us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's like me with Rocket League right now. It's like I only pay attention to Collegiate Rocket League. I have no idea what's happening in the RLCS. So it's like I don't know who the best players are. All I know is that they're like 16. Like that's like all I know is that the best Rocket League players are like 12 nowadays.
Dude, yeah.
So.
Yeah, Smash is very much, I think you see a lot of the top players kind of be early 20s. I think that's kind of the prime for Smash. But Akala, I think, was like 16 or 17 when he started winning major tournaments, which was crazy. My GOAT in Smash, though, will always be MK Leo. MK Leo was the #1 Smash Ultimate player for years. He was #1, okay. Sorry, a little history lesson for all you folks out there. MK Leo was the #1 Smash 4 player for a long time, I believe, at the end of its life. And then going into Smash Ultimate, continued to be the #1 player for years, which was something that, like, in Smash does not happen. In Smash, usually the top 5 is always switching around, and usually someone's only really the top player for maybe a couple of years at most. But MK Leo was dominant, and then suddenly he just started losing. I don't really know what happened. I think it kind of came with I think it kind of came with this wave of certain players and a different change of mentalities. With like Akala kind of became his kryptonite in a way. And also we saw players come in like Spargo, who was also a really young, I think he was like 17 when he started playing. It was also definitely like a contender for top player in the world. He started beating MK Leo all the time, and I think, yeah, but he's always going to be my GOAT.
We're getting, it's kind of like my GOAT in Rocket League will always be Squishy Muffins. Former Cloud9 pro. Cloud9 isn't even in Rocket League anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went to, I think how did it do? So he was in Cloud9 up until they left Rocket League. Then I think he went to NRG, and now he doesn't play competitive Rocket League anymore. But he was always my GOAT, as when I was super into competitive Rocket League, I actually played Rocket League. Yeah, we're kind of entering an era of Smash right now where some of the Smash pros, Smash Ultimate is like their first Smash.
Yeah. No,
I mean, it was my first Smash, fun fact.
Oh, yeah, nice. Like, it makes a lot of sense why, like, Smash Ultimate is going to be a lot of people's first Smash. I mean, Smash 4 came out on the Wii U.
And no one bought it.
no one bought the Wii U.
No one bought the Wii U.
Wii U. Yeah, not Smash 4. I think probably everyone who had a Wii U had Smash 4, but no one had a Wii U.
Yeah, no one had a Wii U. So no one had Smash 4.
So, yeah, no one had Smash 4. But, yeah, Smash Ultimate was just this big, like, Nintendo knew was going to be big. They obviously, pumped so many characters into it that there was almost no way it wasn't gonna be big. That it makes a lot of sense why this is a lot of new players' first game.
Did you ever play Smash on the 3DS?
I love Smash for the 3DS.
There's like a cult following for that game.
Dude, Smash for the 3DS is so fun. I played it all the time because I did have a Wii U, but this is a fun fact about me. So I was begged my parents for a Wii U for every Christmas and my birthday for years. And then they got me a Wii U for Christmas. And then 3 months later, the Switch was released.
Oh, no. That's heartbreaking right there.
Yeah.
That is heartbreaking.
So, Switch wasn't released, it was announced. But, still, it was coming out that later that year or the start of the next year. So it was like, oh. Okay.
I just have a Wii U.
Yeah, now I just have a Wii U, which by that point also was no one has this.
No one has the Wii U.
All of these games suck.
Yeah, how it was for me is my parents were like, listen, because I had only ever had a 3DS in terms of we had a Wii, but it was the family Wii.
Yeah.
I had only ever had a 3DS. And my parents were like, you can have a PS4 for your birthdays. You can have a PS4 or you can have a Wii U. Yeah, you have to pick. And I was like, ooh, this is tough. And I ended up choosing the PS4 because I wanted to play games like Minecraft and Call of Duty. And then guess what came out on the Wii U anyway? Minecraft and Call of Duty.
Minecraft and Call of Duty.
I didn't know. I mean, Call of Duty was on the Wii. I didn't know that when I was a kid, so I didn't. But
it's crazy to me now that Call of Duty is on the Wii.
Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops is on the Wii.
I think there might be one for the 3DS too.
I think there was. Yeah.
The
3DS has the most random games.
Okay, yeah, I could talk for hours about how the 3DS and the Wii just had so many games that were just there's a specific term for them that's shelf fodder or something like that. It's shelf trash, something similar to that vein. That's just kind of why would you have this? They just pumped out so many games for it that it's just yeah.
Yeah, they really did. Because of the Wii, I think the Wii is still, it might actually be the Switch now, but for the longest time, the Wii was the best-selling console of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And they just made everything for it. And they were still making Wii games up until, I think the last Wii game was released in 2020. I think it was Just Dance.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the Wii was huge.
It makes a lot of sense that it would go till 2020, and also it makes sense that the last Wii game would be Just Dance.
I mean, the Wii shop was open for so long.
Yeah, it was.
I had to say, I actually want a Wii U. I want to buy one, but I can't justify it.
Oh, yeah, especially now.
Yeah, I want one because I want to play the original Mario Maker, and I want to play games that are on the Wii U, but I can't justify the cost.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and the Wii U's, man, I would love to have a Wii U again, but unfortunately, I would rather wish that they would port the games I liked from the Wii U to Switch 2.
They did it with some games. Of course, they ported Mario Kart, and they ported the 2D Mario game from that year, New Super Mario Bros. U. Now we got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Great game. I like it. But because I'm a Nintendo shill.
Mm-hmm.
A dream of mine is to own one of every Nintendo console, which means I'd have to find a Virtual Boy. If you know what a Virtual Boy is, you have elite ball knowledge.
Oh my gosh.
Now do you think the Wii U didn't sell? The Virtual Boy, I think, is the worst selling console of all time. Statistically.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I think it is.
The Virtual Boy.
And I'm fascinated by it. I love the Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy, I would love to play a Virtual Boy.
Yeah, I would too.
I want to try it. I want to see why people hated it so much. Well, I kind of know why people hated it so much.
I know some of the reasons. I mean,
yeah.
Gonna turn this into a Scott the Woz video.
Get the blue border.
Get the blue border
for the
stream.
So
the Virtual Boy. We're not. But okay.
Hey y'all, Ball State here.
We're getting really sidetracked. Akron. We're gonna play Akron. So we did just unfortunately lose 1-2 to UBuffalo in a really close game. But so now we're going into Akron, and this one is going to be a little tough. Akron is the #1 ranked seed in ESC. We're near the bottom. We're a younger team, younger program. This is our first year in ESC for Smash. So, it's to be expected. We got to work up. We got to build up. And right now we're going up against a team that has been building for years. So
yeah, a real David versus Goliath moment, and I'm hoping it goes out that way, because yeah, we're gonna need a lot of slingshots to take down this Goliath.
yeah, it's good.
Especially, you know, it's going to be tough for Ball State. Not only is Akron the #1 seed, and we are one of the lower seeds.
What is happening?
But wow,
what is happening?
now yeah, get in close for this. Yeah, no. Sorry, so I know. Sorry, you know, I wish we had like a little fireplace coming up here to get this nice, real cozy vibe. But it's gonna be real tough for Ball State, because you know, going against the #1 seed right now. They're also coming off a loss against UBuffalo. Literally happened just moments ago. And hey, don't zoom out. Don't zoom out. Stay with me. Stay with me here. Stay with me. I didn't. Hey. Yeah, come back. Come back here. Okay. Okay. Now, Ball State really has a lot they have to worry about right now. They really, you know, Akron is tough. They're this Goliath that we've been talking about. But, you know, if I know my Ball State, I know these birds can get on top of any Goliath they see. So that's why I do think it's going to be birds on top for this, even though all the data is against this. But I got to go with my birds.
I'm also here. And you know what? I agree. I agree with what this guy's saying. And that I think that even though this is going to be a tough one for our Ball State Cardinals, I think that anything's winnable in Super Smash Bros. And I think that this is going to be the single-handedly greatest upset in collegiate Smash history. And Ball State is going to 2-0 Akron. That's my game prediction. Now, Smash Bros. What a game.
What a game.
A fighting game.
What a game.
With Nintendo, mostly Nintendo characters. I guess, yeah, you don't know it. If you know, you probably have been watching the stream the whole time. Smash, you know, fighting game, Nintendo characters, sometimes not Nintendo characters. I think we have rosters, again, for Ball State. And also I think we'll have some for Akron as well. So yeah, let's look at that. Oh, this is Akron. You know Ball State rosters. This is Satonics, Vanilla, Leia Realms. Can I say that on stream?
Leia Realms, Raj, and yeah, we're gonna wait for confirmation. But interesting name from we're just gonna skip over for that one for now, I think. But yeah, nice little roster here. Obviously, you know, it's tough to really comment on these rosters for these schools, because as we've been talking about, Ball State's very new to the Smash scene. So
it's like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what characters they play. I don't know how they play. All I really know is their names. But going into, I guess we can talk about. We do know Ball State's roster, as we saw earlier. We do know the characters that they can play, and
so Tonix plays Ken. That's interesting.
Okay.
Wii Fit Trainer.
Okay. I've been told. I heard someone plays Wii Fit Trainer.
So I think Leia Rounds plays Wii Fit Trainer. Raj plays a name that I don't remember. Vanilla plays Jigglypuff, I think. I forgot what the last guy plays, whose name we can't say, unfortunately. But yes, so a Wii Fit Trainer is definitely interesting, as is a Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is a funny character.
Yeah. Wii Fit Trainer is very interesting. You don't see her a lot. But Jigglypuff is also very interesting, because Jigglypuff, for those who don't know, was added in Smash Bros. Melee as a joke character. If you break Jigglypuff's shield, she dies. Fun fact, doesn't matter what percent she's at, she will die. She will literally just go whoop, straight up into the blast zone. So Jigglypuff is this very weird character. She's light, she's floaty, she dies if her shield is broken, but she is pretty strong. In Ultimate, she's only a little bit strong. She has a couple nice things she likes to do. She's definitely stronger in Melee, for instance, where she is considered one of a top tier character. But I do think Jigglypuff is something we got to worry about. They're especially depending on whose hands they are in. because Jigglypuff at a kind of top percent can be very dangerous, because Jigglypuff players, I assume, are the kind of people who are never changing their character for anything.
Yeah.
They're picking Jigglypuff and they're playing Jigglypuff. So that means if they're playing Jigglypuff in this, then they're probably like got thousands of hours on this Jigglypuff.
Yeah, like Jigglypuff, no one picks Jigglypuff because she's good. Like that's just the type of thing. Some characters, like listen, I actually like, I don't just play Bowser because I like. I actually just love Bowser. Like I have the ginormous Bowser Lego set. But anyway, let's get into this.
Yeah, going immediately into game right now, going against that Ken we're seeing right now against Skittles, and he getting a nice little combo there. I tried to play Ken for a little bit in Smash, but unfortunately, he is kind of a really hard character to really master. But gets that nice little combo of just the tilts into the up smash there, or not up smash, the up B, but gets that up smash there on the top platform, and is going to get a first stock for Akron.
Yeah, this is clearly a very skilled Ken player here, just how he's moving, doing absolute crazy damage to this Luigi here, which this would be Skittle on the Luigi. Seeing if he can maybe just get a stock off here. Of course, whilst they're already in that one stock deficit, seeing if he can maybe equalize it. But yeah, just the way this Ken player is moving, you can tell he's pretty skilled.
Yeah, and Ken is very interesting, you know, comes from Street Fighter, and so they had to kind of input a lot of Street Fighter, which is, you know, a 2D fighting game, into this 3D fighting game, which, gets a nice little call out with an up B there, gets the second stock there for Akron, and Ball State definitely needs to think of something on how they're going to get at least one stock from this Ken. Goes for a nice little up B of their own, but is unfortunately not able to connect.
I will say, I do think it is very fun that they added a fighting game character to another fighting game. I think that was funny. I love Street Fighter, and wow.
Yeah, just not a really nice good DI there from Luigi, but ultimately, yeah, that Ken player was really good. Ken, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of a character that's really hard to master because they're taking it from Street Fighter, this 2D fighting game, and Street Fighter is also, you know, kind of known for having a lot of like combinations that you have to input for moves.
I went through like a Street Fighter phase, and Street Fighter is a little different from Smash. It's about like combos. You're clicking different buttons together, and it's a little different than Smash.
Yeah, Smash is like technically, they have these combos, but it's literally just press up and B.
Yeah,
that doesn't move.
Street Fighter has like shoulder down B is your kick. That's kind of how Street Fighter is.
And so, yeah, Smash, they had to try and input a little bit of that into the Ken and reuse characters, and also, of course, the other FGC characters that are in Smash. But that makes them really hard to master for Smash players because, one, if you're a Smash player who let's say you haven't even played Street Fighter in your life, you're not really going to know these combinations for these moves, and not only are you not going to really know these combinations, you have no clue on how to input them on your controller, because like some of them you got to do like half circles, you got to do full circles, you got to do half circle XB or whatever, and it just can be really tough to especially not only know all these moves but also know how to input them, and then also have the ability to be like, okay, in game, in this situation, I gotta know how to input this and do this so it punishes that. And it's just really tough to kind of get that all down. But that Akron player did a really good job at really connecting all of that together, and I think Skittle just had a problem of really adapting to that, getting away from it, and really just kind of fighting back.
Yeah, because of course Street Fighter originally was on an arcade machine. Very much an older game than Smash.
Yes.
Interesting play style there with Ken. That's a character that I just cannot even wrap my head around really, because I played Street Fighter. I never said I was good at it. But I don't think I could ever wrap my head around that, and mixing it with Smash and trying to do it. I think that'd just be awful.
Yeah, no, it is I don't know how they were really able to do it, but they did a pretty good job. I think so. Ken and Ryu aren't really considered too much of top tiers. The other two FGC characters, Terry and Kazuya, are used a lot more. And I do think one of Kazuya, one of the players from Akron is a Kazuya player, so we might be seeing him later too, and we can talk more about him later. But yeah, inputting all this stuff, they had to input the controller things, and they also, one thing you're gonna notice is they all the FGC characters are all, or I think it might just be Ryu and Ken, will always be looking towards the opponent, no matter what. You could jump over them and not be touching, and the person cannot be touching their controller. They'll still turn around and look at them. But going this Dark Samus pick, I do think is interesting. Dark Samus is one of those Echo fighters that we were talking about at the start of the stream. Echo fighter of Samus. So she is like Samus, just a very tiny bit different. I honestly, all I can think is different about Dark Samus is I think she's a little bit more floaty. And I think her side B is a little bit different. It has like a different kind of rocket. But overall, she is exactly like Samus, which I think is a really good pick against Ken, because Ken obviously just has his fist. Samus has this whole suit of armor that with all these weapons.
Yeah, and this would be a twerp on the Samus here. So playing some of our other players in that weren't in the last game. Already getting he's got some pretty good damage on this Ken player here. Doing some big damage in return though. Wow, that killed.
But yeah, a nice little back air there from Ken. Is going to get that kill. Dark Samus gets a back air of their own, but she's able to get the kill. But a nice little up tilt does secure it. But they're going to need to play a lot differently if they want to try and come back from this whole 3-stock deficit that they've been in or gotten themselves in.
Yeah, definitely going to need a little bit of a miracle here. We're going to want to maybe just try and win this matchup against this Ken, but this Ken player is, of course, very skilled and gets a nice spike there.
Yeah, that spike might seem really easy to hit, but it's actually a lot harder to hit than it seems. So that was a very nice combo there from Akron, and I think what Ball State, what their main issue is, once they get into these combos, they're not really able to get out of them, and I think they really just need to focus on getting the nice DIs and SCIs to get out of these situations. But gonna equal it up once again, and if they can somehow get this stock before, but Ken gets another spike, securing Akron's lead, and wow.
That was definitely a much better showing though, you know, it wasn't a 3-stock. Actually managed to get the Ken down to 1 stock. But yeah. Sorry, recovering here. Still got a bit of a cough. But yeah, you know, just definitely a better showing. It's, you know, of course, like we said, it's going to be tough. This is the best team in the ESC. Yeah, best team in the ESC, and yeah, that Ken really showed not only, I think, their ability to really, you know, show those like combo moments and everything like that, but they really showed how unnerving they get in these clutch moments, which is going to be even tougher for Ball State to really deal with. But going into their next character pick, you know, they're still going up against this Ken. It's only going to be 1 stock now, but they need a huge game for them if Ball State really wants to come back from this at all, which is going to be really tough. And I do think, I'm trying to think, I think the Duck Hunt, I think we might see the Duck Hunt here. It's Duck Hunt or the Pac-Man. I think both would be good options here, but Duck Hunt does have a little bit more of that range. We were talking about that, unfortunately, was kind of the problem with Duck Hunt against UBuffalo, but might be the saving grace for Ball State now here against Akron. Yeah, we're just going to watch Duck Hunt 3-stock the next 4 Akron players, and win the whole thing. Actually, is what we're going to see. Cementing Duck Hunt as the greatest character in Smash Bros. Yeah, no, this is actually where Ball State is going to show how the entire tier list system for Smash Bros has been wrong the entire time since this game came out 2017, 2018. Yeah. So that's like almost
That's the game's been crazy. Smash Ultimate's been out for almost a decade now, which is
wow.
insane.
That makes me feel old.
That does make me feel really old. But they are going to change the entire meta right here, right now. That is if they do go Duck Hunt.
I think they're actually
right now.
Pac-Man.
I'm looking over. They do seem to be going, and they are, they are going Pac-Man right now. So we're going to see how Pac-Man is actually the best character in Smash Brothers right now. If anyone ever told you Duck Hunt was the best, why would you believe that?
Yeah.
Why would you believe anyone who said they were going to show how Duck Hunt was the best?
Nah, I never said that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be going and seeing Pac-Man here in this next game. Just trying to get the last stock off this Ken here.
Which I do think really, they can do, should be kind of an easy job. I mean, we've seen this Ken, seen that it's not going to be an easy job. And I think really just what Ball State needs to worry about is I think we cannot lose a single stock here against this Ken. We need to try and get in, get this last stock, and get out.
Yeah, that's definitely just like if they want to have a hope of winning this, that's what they need to do. Is they cannot lose a stock to this Ken. That's just like, yeah, it's a bit of a waste of a stock, but it's gonna be tough because this Ken's clearly very good. So.
But Pac-Man does have that fire hydrant we've been seeing, has those fruits, has a lot of stuff he can use against this Ken. I think the main issue that Pac-Man really is going to have to worry about is that Ken is a disaster on getting these Ball States into his combos. He gets them in there and then just is able to beat them to a pulp, it seems like. And if you haven't noticed, Pac-Man's one big ball with the legs and arms. So it might be a little tough for him to get out of those situations, especially if he is, in kind of a deep combo that Ken player can really seem to do. But again, like I've been saying, I got faith in my birds.
I think it would have been pretty funny if they made it to where Pac-Man wasn't the Pac-Man with arms and legs.
Which just, there was just like the regular Pac-Man. It actually would be so funny if you just could move around the screen no matter what.
Just like totally broken, just move wherever you want.
But instead, they did make that his ultimate.
They made it, yeah.
Pac-Man's ultimate. It's a good thing. If I'm Ball State, I would be thankful that ultimates were not a part of this rule set because Pac-Man's ultimate sucks. It would be good actually for to get one stock, but yeah, no. Pac-Man's ultimate is not the best. But yeah, thankfully ultimates aren't actually used in the Smash rule set.
No one really uses them. I didn't even really know they existed.
Yeah, they're a new thing for Smash Ultimate. Or they not new.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was about to be like, I think they're new of being Ultimates. I actually don't even know if that's their name. I think that might be just what I'm calling them.
Yeah, because in other games.
But yeah, they've always had the Smash balls that you can, or not always. I think that came in.
Probably.
That's definitely in Melee. I think it came in with Melee. Smash 64, as you talk about, no one really talks about because it's not good.
It actually sucks.
It sucks. They did not include a lot of stuff that's in later Smash games. It has the smallest roster, so there's no real reason for to talk about Smash 64 at all. But
yet some people are still really good at it.
Yeah. Shout out Wario, one of the best Smash 64 players out there. He's really good at the game somehow, but Melee is kind of what starts the start of what Smash really is, kind of came to be, and I believe that was the first one to introduce the Smash Ball. But the thing that's new to Smash Ultimate of the Ultimates is that they can build them up. Normally, you don't need the Smash Ball, but both are not in this rule set at all because they're kind of broken for some of the characters and kind of terrible for some of the others.
Yeah, it just doesn't really need to be a thing that exists in a competitive format. So now we got the Ken versus the Pac-Man here. Just kind of the goal, not to lose any stocks. But yeah, this Ken, clearly a formidable player here and just doing really big damage to this Pac-Man. He's absolutely laying in the damage. Probably managed to get something off there, but yeah, taking a lot of damage from this Ken.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage, and you're just really not able to find much of any damage to be dealt to him. Oh, gets a nice little up smash there. Not going to be able to get the kill, but man, this Ken only at 17%. It does seem like he's probably going to get at least one more stock. Oh, except he goes for a Shoryuken that does miss, but then he gets another one after a whiffed punish there. 31%, and a couple of hits later, Pac-Man's at 27, almost equal in percentage. Now, man, Ken already taken that percentage lead back. Pac-Man's got to do something to try and get this one stock, because right now, as we were talking about earlier, he's falling into that combos and falls to another Shoryuken.
Yeah, it's just really a struggle here for this Pac-Man right now. This Ken is just doing such a good job at getting those combos in there. And just, yeah, just laying in that damage, not really giving Pac-Man any room to breathe. Using the fire hydrant as a bit of defense there. But yeah, now already at one stock. And right now, this Ken's looking to complete the 3 stock.
Yeah, and with all this momentum that he's been getting, I do think there's a possibility of this Ken, unfortunately, getting a 3 stock here. They go for the Shoryuken, is going to miss it. Goes for another attack, but it's just going to get grabbed. Ooh, just barely misses the other grab. Goes for another Shoryuken confirm, and it is going to hit, and he gets a 3 stock. Fortunately, not able to get the 1 stock at all. So that means Galena is going to have to still face up against this Ken.
Yep, so that, yeah. Clearly, just Akron kind of proving why they are the #1 ranked team in the ESC. This Ken's very good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really have much to say, unfortunately, but
yeah, unfortunately, it feels like I can say a few things, but it would be all the things that I was talking about for the last 2 matches we just saw of the Ken. You know, that Ken just really is a really good player, and so you don't see a lot of good Ken players out there. As I wonder if he plays Street Fighter.
I wonder if he plays Street Fighter.
I wonder, yeah.
Is he really good at Street Fighter too?
You know, that would make a lot of sense, you know, to have knowledge of both games. That would transfer over a lot well. All those combos and all the stuff from Street Fighter to Smash.
I will say, this is making me want to play some fighting games. Want to play some Street Fighter, want to play some Smash.
I do, yeah.
3 games in and I won't want to play it anymore.
That is one thing I do. I love fighting games, but I think the biggest gripe with them is that if you're not a master at them or haven't been playing them your entire life, they can be so hard to get into because everyone else seems to be a master at them.
I always get these terms confused. It's a high skill floor, essentially.
Yeah.
You have a lot to learn before you can be considered decent. I would consider myself, in all honesty, decent at Smash. I think I'm decent. Not good. There's such a high skill. It's kind of like a game like Counter-Strike as well. Or there's a high skill floor to even be considered good at the game. Then to be considered a pro at the game, you need to go even farther beyond.
Oh yeah, the pros, especially in the Smash scene, at some points can have to make Smash their entire personality, especially with this just comes with just being getting to the next game here, so I will actually shut up. But it's not going to be Galena for the final member of Ball State. Actually going to be I'm forgetting his name right now. It's Green. Green Spiral?
No, this isn't good. This is the.
No, he's the Duck Hunt, right?
Yeah, this is. Why am I forgetting his name? Soup. This is Soup.
That's right.
That's why I was I knew it was a name that I loved too. It's Soup.
Going with that Shulk, which we saw did do pretty well against UBuffalo in the final game 3, but can it take this final stock from this Ken that has been plaguing Ball State so far this entire game 1?
Yeah, we have yet to even see Akron's rest of their roster here, and something like that is why just absolutely dominant on this Ken right now. Gets a nice hit, could have killed, and there he is going to follow it up with the kill. Make it 1-2.
Yeah, good little back air there. Gets the kill. But this Shulk is doing a really good job. Soup is doing a good job at just kind of getting in damage. but just not really doing the best job at avoiding the damage from this Ken, which is leading to these situations where Ken's getting these combos and these kill confirms that we really don't want this Ken to be getting. But nice up tilt from the Shulk sends Ken flying into the air, but a nice little parry there, and a Shoryuken leads to another stock, and we might see this Ken take down the entire Ball State team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's clear that this Ken is very good. Just kind of, you know, dodging around the Shulk's attacks, you know, doing great approaches, you know, just maybe right here we could see the Ken go down, but he is going to be able to tank that hit.
Yeah, he's really going to have to try and go off stage for this kill here. Ooh, almost gets stage spiked, but unfortunately does get the tech. But Ken still is surviving at 101%. Gets a nice forward air, goes off stage for the forward air. Does not die, even though we got the zoom in. And gets the down B in the up smash. And wow, that Ken just killed the entirety of Ball State's team. And you hate to see it if you are the Birds.
Yeah,
AKS.
that is, that's a tough loss right there. The last one was heartbreaking. That was tough. We just got swept by one player.
Especially, it's tough. It's tough getting swept by one player, and then it's tough to be in that final match with 1v1. You hit that forward air,
and he
you
doesn't
see
die.
the zoom in, and you're like, okay, at least we got one guy, and then he lives. And yeah, that Ken down B, which you saw is when he kind of has that black particle effects around him, is very tough to deal with, because if you hit him while he's charging up, he does have what is called in Smash's super armor, which means he takes damage but doesn't flinch and can still get that attack out, which when he does get that attack out, it does, as you just saw, and completely stuns the opponent, just leaving them immobile, and led to him getting that kill there, which was great for Akron, but horrible for us at Ball State.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it is fun to watch someone who is really, really, really good at the character play, but, you know, not when they're going against my Birds. Unfortunate, but now we get to watch another one.
We do.
Now I wonder, does Akron start with Ken again, or do we see someone else?
Okay, so I'm assuming... Like, honestly, I could see it go either way. I mean, we just saw that Ken took down every member of Ball State, so there's a good chance the match be like, okay, go again. Because they obviously know that he's going to do well against the Ball State players. But also, I could see them, you know, if that's just one guy from their team, might be like, hey, let's just try out, send somebody else in, see them go first. But I do think Ball State is going to have a lot to think about, especially on who they want to send in first.
Yeah, I think just see, you know, just try someone out. I think they looking like it's going to be, yeah, they are going to send in the Ken again, I think. And it's going to be, why am I blanking on his name? It's been the name we've seen the entire time.
The Galuna. It's the Yoshi.
There we go, yep.
So at least it's going to be a matchup different for the Ken. So it's not like he knows exactly how Galuna plays, not anything like that. But again, Galuna also has not gone up against this Ken, and so far it is showing, getting Galuna to a nice 133% and a 0-2 death. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of watching someone who is very good at Smash here. Just finally does take some damage here. Pretty equal on percentages, but of course already down a stock, and he's gonna now go for this combo here, build it up. Just doing a ton of damage. Yoshi can't even touch the ground, and yeah, already at 96. And right there, oh.
Yeah, going for those down tilts there right at the ledge, which are really hard to really fully avoid, especially in these certain situations that Ball State seems to be getting themselves in. And again, the second stock for Galuna is already gone. Just a minute over the timer.
Yeah. So now maybe just looking to try to get a stock off on this Ken here. Akron did do kind of what we thought they were going to do.
Yeah, I think it's tough here, because I think when you're going against Oh, a nice call out Shoryuken right there. Just hitting the top of it, but still going to get the kill. And I think it's really tough for Ball State here to go against this Ken in the search situations, because I do think we're starting to see them kind of panic a bit.
Yeah.
When it gets down to when he starts getting those combos in and when he starts getting those kills, especially in those moments, I saw a couple times Galuna just immediately seem to air dodge in or just kind of immediately went for a certain move there that just Ken was able to punish. And unfortunately, that's not how you're going to want to be playing going into this game 2. But again, starting off game 2 very similarly to how we saw the start of game 1 with a 3 stock. Now we did see who got the 2 stocks for the Ken last time. I'm trying to think. It was
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think Pac-Man is probably who you send in now. Just try and get those 2 stocks maybe now. You might try and save Pac-Man as that anchor, as just in case, see if anyone else can get those 2 stocks. Honestly, I could see Ball State going either way right now. They're definitely going to have a lot to think about going into it because, I mean, yeah, they're down a whole player right now.
Yep, and last time they were down a whole player, they never killed the Ken. So hopefully this time they can maybe try to at least get to Akron's 2nd player. That would be nice. That
is at least what I'm hoping for too. If we can see Akron's 2nd player, that's good enough for me. And I do want to see more of Akron's players too. I want to see how they play as well. Although this Ken is very good and I do like watching him play, but I don't like watching him destroy my birds.
Yep, I don't either. It's unfortunate to watch, but sometimes, you know, it's just how it is. Akron, of course, like we said a lot, is the #1 team in this conference. And this is our first year in this conference for Smash, of course. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think right now Ball State should really just need to take this as a chance to really learn, especially, and see how or what stuff they can try and implement, not only for the team this year, but I mean for the teams to come years on. You know, they're seeing how Akron takes these games, so they're going to see how they're going to have to take these games. And again, it might not be now, but in the future, hopefully we see Ball State, you know, eventually, you know, beat Akron in Smash or get a little better and have a little bit closer of a fight than we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. You know, maybe in the future Ball State does take it to Akron and becomes, it's like we are in other ESC conferences, especially Rocket League and Overwatch this year, because of course that's what's going on in ESC is Rocket League, Overwatch, Smash. You know, we're doing pretty good in those right now. So I'd love to see Smash get up there as the years go on, as they develop and grow as a program, because of course this is our youngest varsity team. They were a club last year, just to put it in perspective. They were a club last year. So
and the club situation, it kind of acted the same, very similar to how they're doing these matches now. So I do think it being a actual, you know, ESC sport that we're fully, you know, backing is going to significantly help in the future, because I think right now the main, I believe everyone here is playing on the team because they started as a member of the club. Yeah. And I think in the future, having it more on the big screen, on the big stage, especially, is going to draw a lot more people in.
Yeah, that would be nice as well. You know, get some really, really good, you know, players who want to come to Ball State for Smash. That would be cool as well. Of course, we recruit from everywhere for all of our teams. You know, we have someone from the Netherlands on our League of Legends team. So,
we have the person I always think of is Alif.
Yeah, Alif. He is a big one.
Is he the, I don't know really the ranking of sim racing.
Okay, so Alif, let me try to get my facts straight here. Leaf is Singaporean, and he is an incredible sim racer. So last year, he participated in the FIA Esports Sim Racing Olympics, and I believe he placed 3rd overall. So like that's a global competition.
Yeah, whenever I'm like talking about a Leaf to like someone who doesn't know Ball State Esports, what I always like to describe, or how I like to describe his skill, is I go, a Leaf is so good, he has a trading card.
Yeah, when I learned of Ball State Esports, I learned about a Leaf. I was in a Leaf fan because I'm a massive racing fan. So like I knew of a Leaf before I came here. Like that was like a thing. It's like I knew who he was. So like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we do recruit from everywhere. So maybe that can happen in Smash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would like to see it maybe happen sometime with Smash in the future, because especially going to I've been involved in the Smash Bros scene for a very long time, and I went to many tournaments that other colleges put on for the time I was like in high school, and it really is I think Smash kind of has this weird view about it from people in esports, because it's just so different from every other esport out there that sometimes it's kind of looked aside to games like Overwatch and Valorant and such. But I'm glad it is being more recognized here at Ball State. But we are getting a Roy from I don't know who is playing for Ball State right now, but so far they're doing pretty well against this Ken. Roy is an interesting choice. Roy is one of those Fire Emblem characters. Started off as a kind of a clone of Marth, but Marth's whole thing is he does more damage the more farther away he hits you. So if he hits you on the very tip of his sword, he's going to do the most damage. Roy is the exact opposite. He does more damage the closer he hits you to his hilt. So I do think he is like a good matchup here to kind of go up against a Ken who's kind of going and fighting and brawling. You're going to be in there and in each other's faces a lot more, so you're going to have a lot tougher of a time if you're playing like Marth or Lucina who are trying to get those tippers. But so far that is not working out. As I was going on that Tyrant, Ball State has already lost. I was about to go, they've already lost 2 stocks, and right as I said that, they've lost their 3rd. And so, again, that Ken dominance so far has not even lost a stock in that game 2. And it is bad for Ball State. Going on to their last member here, I think you just got to throw out the Pac-Man, try and get a stock or 2. And if you get that 3rd stock, I think that's great. But I honestly don't think there's much Ball State can really do here.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of got to admit that you're going up against a better team, a better player, and like that happens. That happens a lot. So, that's just kind of how it is. Like nothing we can really do in this situation. We're going up against someone who is clearly just incredibly skilled at Smash, and our team is very young. Our team is made up of people who are very good Smash players, but this is their first year competing at this level, so they're gonna get better, but it takes time. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah, it takes time, and I think especially it's different going from like people playing for clubs and people playing for ESC, and I think it's gonna take time for the players here to even adjust to that, even if it's a little mental adjustments, or if it's this whole different adjustments they got to make with controllers or settings or all of that jazz. But right now, I think Ball State really just right now, I think against Akron, there's not much they're going to be able to do. I mean, this Ken has been dominating over them so far right now, and especially in this game 2, has not lost a stock. So unless we do get all 3 stocks lost by this Ken somehow in this game, I don't think we are going to see Akron's 2nd player, which is unfortunate. So as we were saying, I would have liked to see more of their team a little bit, and I think Ball State would have liked to see a little bit more of their team too, especially for, you know, the future. You know, this isn't going to be the last time that Ball State and Akron are fighting in Smash. You know, it might be the last for this year, might be the last for a while, but I do think sometime down the future, Ball State's going to have to take what they've learned from today to use it against Akron in the future.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's just like you got to kind of take it as a learning opportunity if you can, because, you know, it's a pretty bad loss, but like you're going up against just the best team. And sometimes that happens, you know. Sometimes you got to take, sometimes maybe you can get a little lucky and an upset can happen, but like realistically that's unlikely. So, you know, you got to kind of take what you can get from these types of matches here.
And I do think I'm hoping we get a chance for Ball State to take at least some stocks. I'm hoping it's not a full sweep here from Akron, because I do think, I mean, as we saw from the last game, there is a chance, or there's of course like a chance that we can do a really good job, especially I'm assuming we're going to be putting that Pac-Man in who took those 2 stocks in game 1. And I think if we can just disrupt this full sweep from them, then that's at least progress made.
I would agree. Yeah, you got to set yourself some sort of goal in this type of situation. So yeah, if we can stop the full sweep, that would be nice. That's kind of the goal here. Maybe if we're lucky, take out the Ken. Force their second player out.
And if we could do that, that would be amazing to see. Unfortunately, it is going to be tough because that Ken still has not lost a single stock despite going against 3 other people so far. Seems like they're going Mii Brawler. Honestly, this might see kind of a jokier pick of a character. The Mii characters, so if you don't know, there's Mii Brawler, Mii Gunner, and Mii Sword Fighter. None of them are really considered very good. Mii Brawler is considered the best of the 3. So that might be, there might be some reason for this pick into it other than that. But already Shoryuken off the bat is going to get a stock for Akron. And it's looking like this sweep is going to be happening, which I hope not. Call out for a forward smash does not work.
Yeah, this is Green Spirals. This is our Pac-Man, our Duck Hunt player, just playing a different character this time. And yeah, just this Ken kind of keeping up what he's been doing this whole time. He's doing pretty big damage right now. You know, maybe a chance that they can get at least a stock up, but a big up smash there. Yeah, this Ken just keeps doing a really good job at punishing Ball State for going for these really big like actions, where I think especially now Ball State kind of has to go for these big actions because, you know, there's so much in this deficit that they need something, and they got this Ken up to 99%. There's a chance, but after a combo like that, it's going to get tougher and tougher to try and go for it. Yeah, you know, you got to go for something big, but it's just very difficult.
Shoryu doesn't connect on the 3rd hit, so Mii Brawler isn't going to die right now. Gonna get a nice little nair out there, a nice grab. Gets the up B, and there we go.
The sweep did not happen. He lost a stock and immediately, but
okay. But at least we got a stock in game 2, so it was not a full what would be 12-0 sweep.
Yeah, we did get a stock, but you know, that's the game. Fortunately, 2 losses today. That UBuffalo one was unfortunate. I really thought that there was a chance there, but
yeah, UBuffalo unfortunately just came down to a lot of close decisions that ended up going in their favor, but ultimately still really great games played from both UBuffalo and by Akron. And I think that is going to be it for us for today. Of course, make sure you are keeping up to date with our social media stuff. We are on pretty much anything you can ask for. Ball State Esports on everything. Yeah.
Wednesday, we'll be back with CRL. You'll see me there again. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Later.
See you next time. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe we're still here. Phil.
But we gotta fill a little bit.
We'll
so never
fill a
mind.
little bit. Never mind. Well, that was awkward.
You sorry. You guys are still here?
So yeah.
You guys are still here?
Oh, we have an interview.
We're doing an interview.
Oh,
okay. Guys, I did not know we were doing an interview. If you don't know, sometimes after a game, we like to interview one of our players up here at the desk. So we're going to be interviewing someone from the Smash team. Looks like...
Skittle.
It's going to be Skittle.
This is Skittle. Skittle?
What's up?
Right. Yeah,
What's up, Skittle?
What is up? I guess.
So, okay, so I'll start. Yeah. I'll just start with how did your mentality go from not only going from kind of this you go 1 to 2 games against UBuffalo, but then you also have to go against Akron. How do you even prepare to do that, knowing Akron's the #1 seed and it's definitely going to be a tough game no matter what?
So the game's not over.
The game's not over?
Oh, so then, okay, you know what? Have fun. You don't have to cast, but you just have a spectator.
We held our shield too long. Oh no, the controller. Oh shoot! Hold on, wait. That is my controller. That's my controller. That's my bad.
So,
I put it away because
technical issues live on stream.
Wow. Yeah.
It is his controller controlling the game. Should just give me the controller. Let me play.
Got a mic in my hand, man. We're not used to this.
It happens.
All right,
It's fine.
I don't think you should have picked that. That was pretty far away. Yeah, we got one
they
more
were just
match.
doing that for logistics.
I mean, it's our.
Wasn't another match. Sorry, we are all over the place today.
Wait, so there isn't?
We got
There
one.
is?
It's just one more game.
There is.
1 or 2.
There is another one.
Okay,
We're
so
almost done
there's
now.
one more game, but not one more match. But we're doing.
But we're doing an interview.
We're doing
right
an
now.
interview. Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
We're just doing the interview.
We're
putting
doing
that
the
down.
interview, but there's got to be one more game apparently.
Yeah.
But
You're not ready for the 12 stock comeback. You're not ready for it.
So I guess, the situation with, it kind of sucks. I guess, where do you go from here? What's the goal?
The goal, I think this was the last match of the year, so we focused the rest of the semester on getting better and come back stronger the next season to actually just put some wins in the win column. So
That's good.
a lot of our matches we left feeling like we could have won, and all we needed was player not to fall apart, which was myself today, and other stuff like that. So a lot of winnable matches. So we're new to obviously first year varsity, so we just got to get used to the pressure and not fold under it, and we definitely feel like we can put some wins in the win column next semester.
That's good. I like that mentality.
And so you talked about you just said you have a couple of games where you walked away feeling like you should have won it. So what are some of the things you guys are trying to do to make sure that the next year you got you're getting more wins than this year?
One thing we started after our first couple matches, we realized that a lot of us need to have specific matchups that we go into. So a couple of us would go into certain in Smash Bros. Each character has a Discord that you can go in and be like, hey, I'm not a, let's say Kazuya for example. It's like, hey, I'm not a Kazuya player. I want to play against a Kazuya, and you just play against a Kazuya. You just practice that matchup over and over again. That kind of fell off as we got a little farther into it, but that's something we do need to pick up and do just so we can have, at least for very common good characters, people who are confident going into that matchup no matter what.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's all in all getting better at the game as well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, fun fact about Smash Bros, it's a little different online than offline. They have a four input frames of delay just built into online. So just getting used to that. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be a lot. So just getting more used to that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to be around. I don't really have anything. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm going to ask him something. So you put, what is your favorite thing about playing Luigi? You like Luigi? What is that?
One interaction that can just die at 0.
Fair enough.
I had a game online earlier where I was getting steamrolled and I zeroed it at them, and it completely shook that guy's mental, and I ended up taking the game. So just the opportunity to be like, oh, I grabbed you at 0, you can die from it. So
That's fun.
then now I have to play around the fact that he has a not a very good disadvantage. So like if I'm off stage sometimes, it happened against the Young Link. It was just like he put me off stage in the right position, and there's not much I can do about it.
We were talking up here throughout all your games, like in Smash, anything can happen, and so it's nice to hear like you as a player just full out like say that like even that giving an experience of just like where it did happen, you can fully like reverse or sweep a guy even though it's an online match. It's really cool to hear. So I don't have any more questions.
It's just it's just a game of memorizing. And there's points where you can just be a better player, better fundamentals, and you win. But as you get up there, like everyone's really good fundamentally. So it's just a game of downloading your opponent and knowing what your opponent's going to do. And if you're good at that, you're probably going to be really good at the game. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for.
Thank you guys.
No, thank you. I can take the mic from you. Thank you.
Yeah. That was Skittle, our Luigi, and
so the last match
Tuner
actually just
player.
happened, and the Ken won. But
oh yeah, I do think they were playing it, and they.
well, zooming back in.
We're zooming back in. So
I guess
this is where it is, folks. We're at the end of the stream, probably. You know, night's winding down. You're tired. You just watch so much fun, cool esports. You're probably just like, oh, I've been yelling at my TV so much, just having so much fun. But fortunately, it does gotta come to an end because I do think we're not gonna be watching this last game.
it already happened.
Oh, it already happened. So never mind. So. Again, for all the people at home, just remember we do have Rocket League that is going to be happening on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we do have 2 Overwatch games for you, so I'll make sure to check back in then for that. And other than that, I have been Zane, aka Pokey Penguin.
You can't see me.
Do you want to come over here real quick?
Hold up.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Hi. I've been Wyatt, aka Libby Baby. Thank you so much for watching this Ball State Esports production. We'll see you Wednesday for Rocket League. Zane's here. Oh, they're moving it.
Well, they're moving it away from me. We'll
See
see
you
you
guys.
next time.
Oh.